Welcome to Outlaw Radio. My name is Kevin Barnes, and I'm the host of Outlaw Radio, the militant with a microphone, the mouthpiece of the movement, aka the Negro Whisperer. So what we do on Monday nights is bring you Outlaw Radio live from the basement. I'm not alone. I got my co-host with me, man, my partner, my man 50 grand. Mr. Carter, was popping with you, brother?
Peace. Life is what's popping as always. How y'all doing out there? Welcome to Outlaw Radio. We definitely walk that walk. Raising vibrations and elevate thought. Y'all better come on in. I'm trying to tell you, I am the black one lover, the black man's brother, the culture teacher, the hood healer, the ghetto witch doctor. I'm all y'all holistic health and wellness coach, Kamar Carter. Peace to the family. I'm also the one who brings you nature natural herbs supplements and vitality smoothies. If you ain't had them, you better come get one. Peace, y'all.
Yes, man. Yes. If you're watching the show, please share this show. This is actually a very important show for me tonight, right? And as you can see, it says R.I.P. to Yayo the Don, right? The little homie, right? And I want to talk about that. We're gonna get into this because I feel like this incident triggered me a little bit, and I'm gonna tell y'all why. But we got a lot of other stuff to talk about tonight. We usually just kind of sum up since we were last on the microphone, which was last Wednesday. So share the show. I always like to quote Brother Jay when I say, let's gather around the fire for the scroll that I deliver. Dion James, I see you early in the chat room. What it do? So we're on Mondays, we're on Wednesdays, 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time until about whenever we cut the machine off, right? And people say, well, what is Outlaw Radio? Outlaw Radio is everything because it's some brothers, some positive brothers, some brothers who try to be best foot forward type of individuals, really just pontificating and laying out some things that are pertinent conversations that we should be having. And see, the thing about black people is we really need to understand the power of the spoken word and the power of conversation, because good conversation can lead to negotiation, which can potentially create an understanding. And an understanding is what you want above and beyond everything else, right? Ain't none like a good understanding. So that's what we try to create on Outlaw Radio, not telling you what to think, but simply asking you to think and be able to critically analyze what's going on in Black America today. Now, I know that this is not like a young, this ain't really for the young bucks, right? It's really not. I would say if somebody asked me about my demographics, I probably would say they probably start around 37 to about 60 years old. And so our understanding is different, right? And this Kamar, you and I were just kind of talking about this, and I'm gonna get to your ass too. I'm gonna get on Kamar. But violence in our community, right? And I keep saying, if we don't stand up, if you just turn like a blind eye or a deaf ear or a cold shoulder to what's going on in our community, you're destined to get a taste of it, right? Because this violence will creep right up to your door and into your home. And I lost actually in the last 2 weeks. I lost 3 people that I was very cool with, 3 people that I had a whole lot of love with from my neighborhood. One was Tamara Kingsby. Shout out to Moo Moo. Rest in peace to Moo Moo. Rest in peace to T. Kingsby and the Kingsby family. Michi Kingsby, my partner, my brother, still to this day. And I talked about this last week. And then the brother Vic West, Big Vic from the hood, who passed away. And so I was already kind of, it was what it was about that. But then my little homie comes into town from Georgia, had relocated, and this is the deal with us talking about you got to get out of Milwaukee. And I'm one who says, nah, fuck that, whatever. But my man had moved, and Big Vic was his family, so he came back to the funeral, wasn't even in town 72 hours, and was murdered. Right, and if you see this incident that happened over in the hood, Atkinson, Titonia, I should say. And they show his car. He was actually murdered in our neighborhood where he was born and raised, right? Where we all came up at, right? And I'm not going to speak to the particulars on the crime because that's not what we do, but this affected me, Kamar. It affected me, right? And this young brother has so much love, man. It's ridiculous. It's a reason why we call him Yayo the Don, right? It's because he was smooth. Even at a young age, he was a very smooth youngster, right? Now, I know he was out here. We all were, right? We all have done but he was a very smooth brother. Was really not about no conflict. Was about getting some money. You know what I mean? Living his life. Of course, he loved women. You know, we all love to drink and smoke and do all this kind of stuff, and everybody was getting their money. But Ye was a smooth one, a good dude. So, like a brother who I've at our neighborhood hangout bar where we used to be at, and it's over. Yeah, you might say, "Hey, Kev, man, can you drop me by my crib?" Yeah, right. And I'm just on the ride there. We have a very great conversation. So, and I haven't been in the neighborhood, Kamar. I haven't been in my own neighborhood, right? And so I wasn't even aware that he had moved. But it's a shame when you come back, you get up, you speak at your cousin's funeral, and right after that, before you can even get to the repast, you are shot down in your own neighborhood. In your own neighborhood, damn near in front of the house where you grew up at.
Hey, but that's some of the problem too, though. Like why we talk about why some people get out of the hood, get out of talk about leaving Milwaukee. You know what I mean? Because most of the time people get killed in their own neighborhood. It sucks, but you know what I mean? That's the truth.
I long ago I had to face the reality that if I wanted to get to a certain level in my life, I had to leave my neighborhood, right? And it wasn't because I had any individual beats or anything of that nature. It was more or less kind of like the mentality, right? And so I needed kind of a shift in energy, but I left my neighborhood. So I always talk shit to people from, for leaving the city, not understanding that it's the same thing, right? It's the same thing, right? And what hurt me the most about this is that this is something that should have absolutely not happened, right? Absolutely. Absolutely something that should not have happened. Dion says he loved a brother. He said hood we all have, the brotherhood we have. Absolutely, Dion. You already know that. Gino Hill says you nobody till somebody kill you. Well, you could say that, but Ye was somebody when he was alive. I mean, this is what I'm saying, because I did have to kind of backtrack and go talk to some of the homeboys, right? Like in the neighborhood and say, what the fuck? How does Ye get what? And so it was still the same thing. Like, nah, Ye was, so it's just, and I know other people out there have lost, but what this has done for me, this makes me question a lot of things that I've held true for a very long time, right? I was thinking about the whole thug life mentality. I was thinking about the whole street dude mentality. I was thinking about the way you actually have to be if you're going to live in that environment, in that reality, right? And I'm questioning a lot of the things that we've done, that I've done, in particular, a lot of kind of like our mentality, because I think it produces a community that's like this, right? I'm looking back at what we did, and I know I'm not the oldest cat in the world, but I'm looking at like the way we were in the 90s, early to up to the 2000s. And it was a lot of cold-hearted, counterproductive, anti-us behavior, but we thought we were doing it in the name of solidarity. We thought we're all brothers, we all on the same accord. So anybody else outside this circle can get it. But I'm looking at that now like that was horrible. Right? That's why it's hard for me to criticize a Ja Morant. You know what I mean? Just because he's getting money and he was on Instagram, his shit is, oh, you're vilified. If motherfuckers only knew some of the shit that used to go on in the hood back in the days, right? And we were just kind of like, they say desensitized. I don't know if that's the word, but we just kind of roll with it. Like nobody really was like, nah, man, this shit got to stop. Nah, we was all just kind of like, hey, man, that's just where this shit is. And I'm questioning the whole thug life mentality. I'm questioning not snitching, because if somebody know who killed my brother, please call the police. I gotta say it out loud. People say, Kev, you can't do that. The game is the game, and this and that and the third. Once again, I'm questioning all of this. I'm questioning all of this because really it has no merit. It has no merit. And I'm not going to even talk about the fact that this happened and he wasn't protected because there was a known threat. There was a known issue. And I can't believe the homies. I don't want to blame nobody. That's what I'm saying. I'm triggered, but I just felt like if we know there's a situation coming that needs security, then we have to have security. You know what I'm saying? If we so real, if we so gangster, if we so street, we should be able to hold each other down. So, Kamar, if you got a problem and you say, Keb, hey man, I'm come by your house, man. You think if I say yeah, then that means I gotta be on point when you get here. Like, man, cuz coming over here, ain't nothing happening to him. Ain't nothing happening to him. And so I feel, and I don't know if this is this. I'm kind of rejecting for the first time in my life. I'm rejecting the thug mentality, and because I've always thought it had some merit as a black man, not on the crime level, but on the level of being aggressive and being on point and making sure you dot your I's and you cross your T's. I'm questioning it all.
I get it, Kev. You know what I mean? I was at that point a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? When I seen how many fellas go to prison, you know what I mean? And they in there and they boys ain't looking out for them. They don't hear from them. They only hear from them when they go in and then right before they get out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just sucks, man. You know what I'm saying? And then you talk about how motherfucker, it really ain't no love out here in the streets. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no love because niggas don't love themselves. I always talk about the measure of love is the situations you put yourself in and the way you let people treat you. You know what I'm saying? And the way it is in the streets, man, and the situations that happen out there, you know what I mean? It ain't too much love. Ain't no love out there, man. Like, a motherfucker will let you die before they let themselves die, right? I ain't putting my life in nobody else's hands.
I understand.
I mean, I'm questioning this. I'm questioning this whole thug mentality too. I'm just digging deep with it. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to really dig deep in themselves, man, and peel the layers back. Because this shit don't make no sense, really. You know what I mean? And then we could talk about how some people get labeled as like the super thug, the hard nigga out here. And you know what I mean? I don't care who it is, it's always fucked up when somebody get killed. You know what I mean? Because they got a lot of loved ones, whoever it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's still bad. But, I just feel like it's, how we talk about on the show. I talk about on the show. Years ago, I used to call motherfuckers squares, the motherfuckers that was going to work and doing what they was supposed to do, living life right. I was calling them squares. But now at this point in my life, I realized that I was the square. I didn't know how life was supposed to be lifing. You know what I mean? I didn't know nothing about credit. I ain't know shit about shit. I'm just out here in the streets trying to get some money quicker than this motherfucker over here. This shit ain't worth it, man.
It's a screw job. It's a screw job.
And then you look at how many motherfuckers retire from a street life.
There's no retirement plan.
Unless you go to prison.
Shout out to Mama Jenkins. She said, "Good evening, my outlaw family." She said it's just a sad fucking city, and somebody do know who killed them. Absolutely, somebody knows who killed them. Absolutely, they do. But see, once again, if we are beholden to these silly ass, like, I just really had to sit, man. This sent me into deep thought because this is a father of 4, got grandkids who actually had made a decision, right? For whatever reason, hey man, I'm just gonna, move along and go somewhere else. And just to come back, just to pay your respects. And for this to happen right in our neighborhood, I guess that's what hurts me the most. Like, if it happened down there and you'd be like, damn, Ye fucked around and got killed, wherever he was at. It would have been like, damn, they must didn't know. That's Yayo the Don, man. We love for Yayo. But for it to happen here, where we all know and love this brother, it makes it that much harder for me to process. I shouldn't say process, I should say digest. Because I know that there's no real valid reason for him to have been killed. I know that much about it, right? I know that this should not have happened. And the fact that it did changes my whole perception on how I even see the neighborhood, right? Mama Jenkins said, KB, whoever killed him is a coward and a dangerous son of a bitch out here on these streets. Yes, ma'am, he absolutely is. Any individual who chooses to take someone else's life. See, this is where we go with crime and punishment, y'all. Let me say this. There's a phone number. 262-202-5131. Once again, it's 262-202-5131. It's Outlaw Radio, live from the basement. This is dedicated to my man, Yayo the Don. Don Ye, little homie, right? Rest in peace, man. Rest in power. Lost his life. It's like for nothing. For nothing. Like not. Once again, this whole we've looked at these kind of fake ass codes. Well, don't snitch, and it's okay to do this to that person, but you can't do it to that person.
Ain't that really like that's really like giving murderers passes a pass, like you know what I mean, a get out of jail free card. Really,
well, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's like saying, well, we all know that you just murked a homie, but we're not gonna tell. But the reality of it is, if he done that to him, he'll do it to you.
Now, I do remember a time when it was like, okay, we ain't gonna snitch because we gonna go get that nigga. I remember when shit like that used to go down, you know what I mean? But okay. I hardly believe that it's like that now.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
I could be wrong, though.
I gotta be real careful how I talk, because it's people who are still in the community, in the neighborhood, and they could possibly be at jeopardy, right? I'm not in freedom to really just talk about it, But like I always consider myself, like when we were growing up, when we were doing our thing, I considered myself what we talk about now. I thought I was a real nigga, right? I thought I understand these streets. I know it's win or go home. It's all in. It's all gas, no brakes. And I just kind of got used to that mentality because I have so many former peers who were taken from this planet via gunfire. And all these years, it's just been something that I just dealt with and said, hey, man, that's just how this shit is. That's just how this shit is.
Right. And it's
but
not.
This one made me think, I've said this before, but I guess it put it back into my atmosphere. This is not how it should be.
Right.
This is not how.
It's not how it
is.
You gotta stop saying that's how it is, because when you say that's how it is, we really saying that's what it's supposed to be.
Right. Come on, man. 44 years old. Father of 4, grandfather. Had left the city. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. And it's just, and for it to happen right in the neighborhood. And see, once again, I questioned myself for years, because like I said, when I made that decision where I felt like, in order for me to really be able to do what I need to do, I probably got to spread my wings a little bit. I had a family, right? I had responsibility. I was like, you can't really, the game has changed for you. It's changed for you, right? Like you can't do some of the things you used to do. And so I always kind of felt bad. Like, damn, I feel like I'm running off. I feel like I'm, like, damn, you lost your nerve for the curb, right? Like, man, I ain't. And
hey, it's like this, man. Like you can get out of the toxic bullshit, or you can stay in it.
Absolutely.
Because that's what it is. It's toxic bullshit. And ain't nothing we can do about all these people out here that's fucked up. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing we can do about it.
I think a lot of us, Kamar, I have to be honest about this as well. I think a lot of us, whoever flipped any kind of work, right, like in the community, And I'm not whether you were the Don or whether you were just just a curb server trying to get a little, whatever. I think we kind of underestimated the long-term effect of what we were actually doing.
We definitely did.
Because we looked at it like, hey man, shit, somebody got to get this money. If I don't get it, somebody else gonna get it. We felt like, hey man,
we thought we was gonna get this money and retire.
Well, for some of us, I can speak for myself. It was always the ends to a mean, because
that's what the fuck we thought.
if I was ever in between jobs, I already knew. Look, go snatch this little paper right now, get you a job. Whenever I got a job, I wouldn't hustle, right? But if I was laid off, I lost a job and I needed some bread, bam, go do what I have to do. I was pitching, and I didn't think that maybe somebody who was dealing with a really bad addiction, maybe I served them and they went home and it took them further away from their kids and their family. And these kids are now grown-ups. And we idolize the dope dealers. Every show we watch, BMF and all that, we've talked about this Power and all this shit. Snowfall, as much as I love Snowfall, it's all about, man, look how much money they made off dope. And I think that's what kind of sparked up. I think that's what kind of sparked up the heat the other night with the brother Parrish, who was saying, like, what you talking about with this mandatory minimum shit and all this lock 'em up shit. And I think we all were kind of like, brother, you was not here. You know what I'm saying? That's not to say he ain't seen shit or,
right.
But it was like the reality that we understand from here being in this little motherfucker. We's like, nah, man, there's some straightening that needs to be definitely made. And so
right away type shit.
Yeah. Like, and so when we talk about this tonight, that there's already new mandatory minimums on the car theft thing. Now, I don't know if this is common knowledge, but a bunch of motherfuckers about to get a football number. Mm-hmm. And they're gonna be the example. Right. And it's like we gotta understand that you might not like it or you might not understand it, but most of the time it's gonna happen anyways. There's a lot of people saying, no, we can't do that. We can't do that. It's already signed.
I think a lot of black folks saying that because they feel like, we putting our own people in the modern day slavery. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, the same people who we putting in the modern day slavery is killing us.
Right.
Literally.
Right. These individuals I can say this definitively. These types of individuals are the reason why my little homie ain't here right now. It's a counterproductive, sociopathic, mentally ill, low self-esteem, confused, misled individual who takes this. Because if you're rational, and you have a sound mind, you don't kill this brother. Listen, hold on. There's all kinds of racist militias and people doing racist things all over the country. Like I have to even go to George Zimmerman still walking around, but the homie Ye is gone. That shows our mentality as a people, like what we'll do to each other versus what we'll do to somebody else who's fucking with us.
Right.
So that bothers me because I'm like, well, what's up with my people? Like now, I mean, it's not like I didn't understand this before.
Hey, I was just thinking, man, the way Milwaukee set up, man, that could have been some road rage shit. Nobody would ever know who it was.
It wasn't.
I don't know. I'm just, you know what I mean? Because I don't know, that's why I said that. You know what I mean? It could have been, but that's the way Milwaukee is set up, though. Motherfuckers is dying just like that because of some road rage shit.
Unfortunately, I don't know who, I don't know how, but I know what was kind of like the word on the street in terms of why it happened, right? And I'm not speaking from being there. I'm not speaking from knowing anybody involved, just going through my neighborhood. You go in the neighborhood, everybody got a different kind of, oh man, I heard it was this. I heard it was that. It was this, it was that, right?
Yeah, everybody got a spiel.
Right. But nobody said anything that was so egregious that his life should have been taken. All the shit that multiple people told me, it was like, nah, man, that ain't shit. He wouldn't, nobody would have done that over that. Nah, man, ain't it? So I didn't hear, certain things you can hear, like, yeah, man, he had did it against somebody a couple years ago. Then he moved to Georgia, he came back, they rolled on him. You think, damn, That's what, but it wasn't nothing like that I heard. So it was just like, are y'all serious? Man, listen, I've been retired. I've been retired from any of that, and I switched my mentality a long time ago. But like I said, at certain points, I've kind of felt like, man, you're not even in your own neighborhood where you grew up at no more. Like you don't even you don't dip down and show love and all. And I'm seeing right now that you really can't. You really can't because you think it's all love and hugs, and then something like this happens. There's no way that anybody would have ever said like, yeah, man, this is gonna happen to this brother. Like, no way. So I just feel a certain kind of way about it. Milwaukee, we got to do something, man. We this is what my man used to call a dumpster fire. This is literally hot garbage right now that we're dealing with. There's no there's no reason for any of the individuals who been a victim of a homicide. I would never say anybody's pain is lighter, but I would say in this case it hurts so much more just because here's a brother who tried to leave and he's not coming back unless the big homie, which is his cousin, passes. And so whoever did this, whatever drama they had with him, they couldn't say, hey man, he came in town for the big homie funeral. I guess that's not how it works. I guess that's not how it works, man. Just like I said, I was triggered the whole weekend, man. How was your weekend? Goddamn, how was your weekend, man? I hate to start it off like that and shit, man. But I'm telling you, Kamar,
Well,
I'm looking.
my weekend was weird, man. You know what I mean? There was a whole bunch of shit going on. Like mentally, I had some shit going on. My lady left out of town. I was missing her and shit, man. This is the first time. Yeah, nigga, I said it. I said it so you couldn't bust me out, right? but yeah, man. I missed it. This is the first time we'd have been apart. You know what I mean, like that for some days. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tell you how it ended, though, man. It ended amazing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? My homeboy, my best friend, T-Buck, his son came by the house Friday. And he had got some sea moss and some teas and stuff, right? And we sat out there and talked for a while. Then he asked me, he said, say, Unc, you want to go to this 19 Keys thing? Lecture or whatever in Chicago. So he took me down there.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I'm gonna tell you, man, this trip, this was so dope to me, man. You know what I mean? Like I say, this was my best friend's son. You know what I mean? We ride down there, man. I passed him the blunt, man. Hey, look, he dug in the seat while he was driving, just like T-Buck used to do, man. I had chill bumps, man. This shit was so dope. Wow. You know what I mean? And I was so proud of him because of the conversation that he had. You know what I mean? The conversation that he was having, it wasn't on this dumb young nigga shit.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He talking about self-awareness, getting his soul right. You know what I'm saying? Talking about doing some shit in the community. You dig what I'm saying? So like, I just thought this was amazing. You know what I mean? And then like, I hadn't really watched too much stuff about 19 Keys. You know what I mean? But the little stuff I watched, I did like it. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yeah, it was a dope show. It was a whole dope set what he did. The other homie, Blue Pill, be on YouTube, Blue Pill and Red Pill, they was there selling their products. I got some gold water from them.
I seen that. I seen you had that.
I got some gold water, but it was a dope trip, man. You know what I mean? The weekend it turned out dope. You know what I'm saying? I needed that.
Yeah, man. And rest in peace to the homie T-Buck too, man.
Rest in peace, T-Buck.
Good dude.
And what up, nephew, if you're watching?
Yes, sir. Good dude. Good dude. Once again, and I think you can identify with me in that regard because I know from being in y'all neighborhood back in the days, he was loved. Like he had love over there. Like he could literally drive down the street and stop 50 times. It's just, hey, T-Buck, what up, Buck? Man, get out, man. Pull over it. Like he had love. Ye was the same way. Like cats stop their car. Yeah, yo, the dime. What's happening, man? And he, like I say, my man, he had the mouthpiece like that. Man, what's happening, man? And you just laugh because he was just like that. And so that's what I'm saying, man. I feel a certain kind of way about this. Not like I want to go and do drive-bys, but I want to attack the real issue in the community. I really want to figure out, and I don't know right now where we got to start at. That's what I'm saying, and that's where I'm at with this tonight.
You got to start with self, man. I've been saying this for years. You know what I mean? We all got to work on ourselves. We all fucked up. We all got work to do. We got shadow work that we need to be doing with ourselves. When we start working on ourselves, we start getting better. You know what I mean? We start accomplishing goals. You're going to start loving yourself more. And as you love yourself, you're going to love the people around you more. You're going to have more consideration.
Arizona, Vegas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're going to have more consideration for people. You know, the love going to grow all around. Start with self, though.
Man, that's what's up. Vince Tony said, Hafa Adai from the island of Guam. Vincent Guam, he done hit it.
Yeah.
Right? You'll never hear me saying nothing about leaving the city no more. Good evening, Kevin Kamar and the Outlaw family. Yes, ma'am. How you doing? Sean Mo, what it do?
What it do, family? What it do, peace, man? What's out of Dr. Carter?
Peace.
Hey, Billy, man, I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain, man. You know what I mean? But we can't give up. You know what I mean? This would be even more of a call to arms. You know what I mean? You know, I put some statements up earlier about my enemy, right? And you know, you can, unfortunately, you know, walking through my neighborhood, our neighborhood, man, which I've been doing the last week. You know what I mean? It wasn't a lot of love. You know, it's a lot of angry faces. You know what I mean? Ain't a bunch of handshakes, right? And people feel like we each other enemies. You know what I mean? And we're not. You know what I mean? We're each other's strength.
That's right.
But for those that continue to do this devious shit, you know what I mean, continue to act like the enemy, walk as the enemy, and be the enemy, we gotta treat them as the enemy, man. And they gotta be removed from the community by any means necessary.
Let's give them to the enemy.
That alarming rate.
That's what we say, though, Sean.
We give them to the enemy.
We shouldn't do that. They saying we're wrong for even saying lock them up.
That's because our culture has shifted to this street code shit where, okay, you know, it's not cool to be a citizen, right? It's cool to live by this code, man, where, you know, I got to get back. Well, if that's the case, let's say, fuck it. Total anarchy, right? And feed on the weak. And then, because that's where we're headed to, man, if we continue to push this culture with these adverse messages.
Okay.
I'm the biggest street dude out here, man. But I understand there's a need for law and fucking order.
Thank you. Dion says you was on Tone Talks today. What is Tone Talks? I don't know what that is. That's you, Sean. You was on Tone Talks. He said you was on Tone Talks. Dion said, "Oh, Sean Moore was on Tone Talks today." I don't know what that is.
What is Tone Talk?
I don't know. I hope maybe it's another Sean Moore. I don't know.
I was on the plane today.
Oh, okay.
Shit, I just landed.
Hey, you know what, man? And then to talk about that street shit, talk about all this street shit, like really, motherfuckers just talking that shit out here in public. Like, I ain't no snitching. But as soon as a motherfucker get in trouble, now they snitching. Yep. You know what I mean? But then to be out here talking this shit about no snitching, you know what I mean? We can't snitch. We can't tell. But like I said, Kev, like really, like since I ain't in the streets like that no more, you know what I mean? Really, I just feel like not snitching is giving murderers passes.
Okay.
That's, bro, listen, man, you know Kamar, man, when we was playing the game, KB, you know it too, bro. When motherfuckers did foul shit, man, say, man, you can't be around here with that shit, you fucking up our money. Right? I know personally motherfuckers who have been forced to turn their motherfucking selves in because you fucking with our money, boy.
Right.
You got to go handle that shit.
Them people out here looking for you, nigga. You need to go holler at them.
Okay. Vince says we are the enemy of ourselves. Dion said he had the same name as me, as bro, no cap. Right. Somebody, he said somebody had the same name as you, Sean.
Oh yeah, well, perpetrators, you know what I mean?
Uh-oh.
There's only one real Sean Mo, man.
They stealing your wigs, man. I mean, Cadillac Records. He said he's stealing your name.
I ain't mad, you know what I mean?
Rail, what it do? Rail DeBarge in the building, right?
Peace.
What it do?
Peace. How everybody doing?
I like it.
Right. Yeah. Right. In the middle of the night. I said in the meat of.
Oh my goodness.
Right. That's a whole other conversation. Listen.
You remember Who's Johnny and shit?
Right. 95, right? I told you, I grew up in the 80s, man. I remember that shit totally. Come on, man. Short Circuit. Come on, man. Like, what are you talking about?
With the Indian dude that wasn't really Indian and shit.
Right. Come on, man. Good old 80s filmmaking, right?
Right.
But no, so welcome to the show, Real. We are just talking about, and we got Sean Moore on the jack, and we got some people in the chat room. Dion's in the chat room. Mama Jenkins out there. T. Arsh is out there. If you listening, chime in. The number is 262-202-5131. And I get this because I'm old, right? And and I made the decision to kind of get away from the streets physically years ago. Yeah. But I guess my mentality has always kind of remained the same in terms of how I approach life, right? Not like, because I figured out a different way to fight battles now, as opposed to just, there's a million different ways to kind of fight. And I had to figure those out. But I was saying, I still believe that there was some validity to real nigga action, if you will. So the way we must conduct ourselves and as black men, coming from the environment and the neighborhoods that we come from, it requires a certain kind of energy. Mm-hmm. It requires for you to have a certain kind of mentality, right? And there's no ducking that. Now, I said that because I know a long time ago, when we all got to a certain age, in my generation at least, there became a time to do what we refer to as jumping off the porch, right? And a lot of us jumped off. Some of us had to jump back on right away. A lot of us jumped off, and some of us didn't ever get back to the porch, right? Yeah. So with that whole thing but there was, what else was you gonna do? You could have just stayed, whatever. You could have been square, whatever. I've always wanted to be free. So that means I wasn't going to allow somebody else, because they were of a certain kind of whatever, to tell me what I can and can't do. So I got with my people and said, well, we standing for some shit too. And it would go down, right? So, but the whole time that mentality was counterproductive and fucked up. You know what I mean? But it's what I felt like I had to do to survive. So now I'm looking at the street shit, and to me it seems bastardized. It seems watered down. And I want people right now who consider themselves to be street niggas and in the game, understand your best friend is probably a snitch. See, they have these things called confidential informants.
And that's probably the one that's gonna kill
you. We have these people in the community who your homeboy, and we all got this one homeboy. Some of us have discovered it. Some of us are still in the, I don't know. I don't think so. One of your best crime partners is an informant. He's an informant.
Straight up.
And there's no way around it. Well, I ain't gonna tell on none of my homeboys.
Yep.
Still a fucking informant, right? And we be so blinded by this, man. That's the partner, man. That's the homie, man. That's my nigga right there, man. Please. He done told your whole life story downtown. You don't even know.
Watching you now, nigga.
Right. And it's hard to accept. Listen, I used to work for an organization here called Safe and Sound, right? We were at this time, and I think I'm at liberty to talk about this. They used to have this thing in Milwaukee called the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Agency, right? It's called the HIDA building downtown. And what this involved was there was a office from every law enforcement agency in this country. They all had an office there. FBI, Coast Guard, DEA, ATF, MPD, Milwaukee County Sheriffs, you name it, they could frame it. The first thing they told me when I got hired, because Safe and Sound was in one wing of this building, right? The first thing that they told me, because I was doing community organizing through them. Like, I thought, man, I'm working for the city doing community organizing. This is the shit. First thing they do when they give you that badge is say, there's certain doors you can't go in. We could not park underneath the structure, and we couldn't go through a certain set of doors. And I said, why? He said, because we bring informants in and out of this building all the time. And there's a risk that you may know one of these individuals. Wow. I said, you bullshit.
Let me see. Let me see.
Right. So I know that a lot of individuals get pulled over for what you would think is a minor traffic incident, but he or she may have weight, a gun, whatever would have you, and nobody knows about it because it happened to them on the low. And they say, hey, in order for you to walk from this, you're gonna have to give us something. You got to give us something. Now, don't get me wrong. It's some brothers who say I ain't folding, I ain't doing this, but they usually go to jail. When they say I ain't got no information for you, they go to jail. Those brothers who don't, you don't even know he got pulled over that night. You don't know he got caught with whatever, and you criming with him. Your best friend is a snitch. Your partner is a snitch, right? And it's hard for us to, once again, with the thing with our women and our families. Shout out to my brother Ajamu Butler. He said, "What's good?"
Peace,
I
peace.
see you, Sharina. She said, "Hey, brothers." He said, "It's jealous people's out here." Mama Jenkins said, "Well, they did a roundup, so a lot of them are off the streets as of now. Somebody done told on somebody." Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know because I ain't been.
Yeah, they was locked up. They locked up over 60 people. They said, man.
Now, where's this at? For where? For the homie?
In Milwaukee.
Okay.
In Milwaukee, over 25 homicides.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. He said, "What's good, Kings, man? I see you, my brother." Ajamu. He said,
peace.
Outlaws for life, man. No doubt, man. Love it.
So when you talk about cats that get pulled over and become informants, are you talking about like Joe Schmo petty crime dude, or are you talking about niggas that's connected and like facing indictments?
Either or.
So regular petty ass crime dudes.
Yeah, them too. Because you know what they tell them? Take me to your leader. Take me. Well, motherfucker, you ain't got nothing but a ball. Look, we know you fucking with so and so and so.
You ain't even gotta have that, KB.
Okay.
They get caught with a rock and they tell it.
Right.
They get pulled over, man, facing fucking house correction time for some speeding tickets, and a bunch of them motherfuckers have accumulated, and they tell them, man, you gotta do 18 months or you give us somebody. They giving 3 or 4 people up.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I laugh at some of the stuff where I said no snitching. I say, when that shit start? Because ever since I've been old enough to remember, somebody was turning witness. Somebody was, if John Gotti was betrayed by Sammy the Bull, right? Like, and shit rolls downhill. Right. So you can't tell me a $2 ass dude off the corner is finna go do a number for you. You will be rated. And you talk about, I don't know what the fuck happened. You know what happened? He's sitting right next to you.
Damn.
It could be her.
Right.
It could be her out here trying to do the credit card fraud and get caught up in this. Yeah, well, we know who your boyfriend is. Like, we don't want you. We want him. And she, I don't want to lose my baby. Well, he's gonna grow up in the orphanage. You'll never see him again. All right, this motherfucker. She lay your whole shit out. You sleeping with her? Yes, sir. Ain't no honor amongst thieves. Why do you think all y'all some thieves, but there's a code to honor, a code of honor to it? You got a code of conduct as thieves, man. No, there's no honor amongst thieves. So you say it's all this shit, all crap. Let me see. Let me get my chat room on deck. Ajamu says, take the YSL Rico case, for example. Them niggas was faced with a hard decision and flipped quick.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It don't take that much time. Yeah, everybody can go in there with a tight alibi, and it only take one dude to say, "Man, they made me do it."
KB, let me interject because this was so we've jumped off of people mentioning the culture changing and us looking at witnesses as snitches and rats. When we need to identify what's what, because witnesses are needed, right? Okay. Snitches sometimes are tolerated because they they are actually a part of law enforcement. It's the rats, right? And the rats, we talked about rats before, what they do to the community, right? And I'm not talking about just the rats that flip on each other. I'm talking about the rats that aren't involved in crime too, that push the message that, oh, snitching ain't cool and oh, he's a rat, right? And why they're doing it, because they're profiting off of it, right? But it's fucking our culture up. When we came up, man, and you don't, KB, we some gangsters, man, but Capitol Drive was safe for people who went to work, for kids, for women, right? Because we had rules, right? If a motherfucker was out of order, man, listen, you got to go and handle that shit. Get your motherfucking ass out the hood. We not playing that shit. Go take care of that shit. Now it's, oh, little dog did that shit, man. Better not nobody say nothing. Let's help them bear. No, fuck that. That motherfucker that is fucking our neighborhood up is still in our motherfucking neighborhood, and we ain't gonna do nothing about it. It
was like that to a certain degree, but there were some individuals over there who probably should have been told on, who was terrorizing the community in their own right. But once again, this mentality makes you look over this, right? To say, well, he's wrong, but your partner's wrong. Because I've had some homeboys who probably shouldn't have been on the street, but I wasn't gonna tell on them. And I've seen them do some things that probably should have cost them their freedom. And I didn't tell on them. I said, man, that's the homie. You ain't supposed to tell. And I'm not advocating everybody start well, I am, I guess. Maybe that's where it needs to be. Hold on. Let's look at, because we want to question the street. We want to question the whole street mentality tonight. So hold on, Sean. Let me read some of this.
Yeah.
Ajamu says there's been plenty raids here. Serena said, are these raids related to all these homicides? Because plenty people getting murdered. She says, is it related to the drugs or the crackdown on all the homicides? How you doing, Erica Hunt? She said, hello, Outlaw family.
Peace.
Beauty Waddington, how you doing, my sister? It's been a while since she's been on with us. Hey, brothers and sisters. So, Sean, I was trying to get to, we started off, first of all, I like to say this show is dedicated to my homie Danye, a.k.a. Yayo the Don, who perished last Thursday, or was it Wednesday? I think we were actually on the air, or was it the next day when I got off the show and somebody hit me like, dude. So it was Thursday. It was Thursday. Thursday. Okay. So, and you seen this on the news and all this kind of stuff. People saw this. And I was just talking about how triggered I was by it. But I was also talking about, I'm really questioning in this whole real nigga, street nigga, gangster, hood shit mentality. I'm thinking like, it's so counterproductive. Look, it's even leaked. And I'm glad you showed up, Rail, because you put up something today in our Outlaw, in our Word Mob group. We got our Word Mob Outlaws group in which we all communicate. And you put up a TikTok about social engineering.
Okay, yeah.
Right? And so I watched that and I heard what he was saying.
Yeah.
But it was, to me, the only argument with that is it's just pointing at the music.
Right.
Just pointing at the music. And I don't think you can solely blame the music. Even with this, I'm the biggest fan of 90s gangster rap that you can find. Right? Like,
yeah.
I'm gonna bump that shit. I know some of them, I'm like, damn, that was fucked up. He said that, but this beat cold as a motherfucker, right? But I feel like if you're just blaming the music, it's one-sided.
Yeah.
Because there's so many other things. First of all, I rest in peace to Malcolm X, who had, I guess, was his birthday last week. We didn't acknowledge it. That's our bad. Okay.
It was 19.
So we didn't acknowledge it. But he had a speech one time that I seen when I was younger, and it was very poignant, called "The Hate That Hate Made." Right? Like this killer cowboy mentality was not originated by us. We didn't. Black people, we don't own the trademark on fuckery. It looks that way, right? It looks that way. But this is handed to us. This is taught to us from the fact that at one point we disciplined our kids the way the slave master disciplined their slaves. How? Beat his ass. And now we said we got to start beating their ass again.
Maybe got to beat him, Papa.
Right? Maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's too much ass whooping and not enough teaching and parenting and positive reinforcement, right? So even with our women, And this is what I was taking from that, what you said. I want you to be able to talk about social engineering, Rail, because I've heard you talk about it before. I listened to what this brother said, but he was right. There was a misogynistic era in which we as young men were kind of conditioned to say, what's my favorite word? Bitch. You don't love them hoes, right? Man, please give me that and make me happy. All these kinds of little, we thought it was snappy and slick. Pimps up, hoes down, and she can't swim, she bound to drown. Remember all this corny ass, cornball ass shit that we used to talk about, right? But I always have said that was a reaction to how women kind of treated the square during the dope game, during the crack era. Because there was a tremendous belittling of the square. He still has not risen above yet. You got women crying because they, getting screwed over by, a real, in the life type of individual. When it's a dude that's a plumber that would love you, and Stanley too boring for your ass. Right? Nobody wants Stanley tattooed on them. She won't, Killer Quan on her back.
That was before crack, though, Casey.
What you mean it was before crack?
That was happening before crack, man.
I'm not okay. Maybe it was. But I'm saying what defined that generation of the whole we don't love them hoes, like our era, we kind of looked at it like, man, all she wanted some money. Fuck them hoes. Like it was wrong though. It was wrong. What it created was a lot of dudes going out here having babies by multiple women and not fathering any of them. Man, fuck these hoes. Oh, okay. So. And me and Kamar just laughed about this, only to come full circle as older men now. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman, in particular a good woman, you holding on to her. You caking like a son, bitch. You happy as hell to be caking. Hands in Walmart.
And ain't gonna let nobody call her no hoe.
Goddamn right. And we'll tell your partner, hey man, freeze that shit, man. My girl might hear you. Right. Like you 12. I mean, you can turn this shit down. We the same dudes who I bumping Too Short, Blowjob Betty in my shit, riding around laughing. Yeah, I'd be like, man, please don't play that shit around here, man. You don't hear that shit, man. So I'm just saying, but this is a better life than I had then. You feel me? Embracing, understand, like to say, man, it's nothing like I'm fortunate enough to be in a neighborhood where I can actually sit outside and it's really pretty much quiet, right? It's just, a lot of nature and trees and whatnot. I can kick back at night in the summer and chill just to enjoy that now. Instead of, man, I need to go, in the hood and get on the block, man, where it's constant chaos and confusion. And it's like you thriving off this shit. So I'm questioning thug life.
Right now.
Okay. I'm an old man, but I'm questioning thug life, and I'm questioning the whole street nigga shit. And I think all of us need to wake up, man. I think we need to wake up. Let me get my chat room. Then, Rel, I want you to be able to speak on this social engineering thing that you put up because you put it up. Okay. So Beauty says, she said, so first of all, it starts from the rappers. That's very interesting that it starts from a rapper, not from the parent. It starts from a rapper, not from the home, not from the neighborhood, not from the community. Okay. But she says it's music. She said movies post artists that have sold their souls. Vince says it's much larger than music. It's psychological warfare and cultural engineering.
Said, music is just a part of it.
Are people who agreed to be protected because then when they are discovered, people on the street put a bullet in them. It seems that it's affecting our community the most with all these homicides.
We have allowed that, though. We have accepted that. I mean, that was not accepted when I was coming up. We knew that if Miss Jones seen us, Miss Jones was gonna tell.
Like a motherfucker.
If Miss Jones told, guess what? We just went to jail.
Right.
When nobody trying to hurt Miss Jones, you know why? Because we protected Miss Jones.
Right.
Just couldn't let Miss Jones see you.
Right. You supposed to know, man. Put that shit down. Here come Miss Jones. You know her.
Right. Miss Jones, she got plenty of respect.
And them old people back then was bold enough to say, y'all, I see y'all out here selling them drugs and doing this mess. Y'all gonna get away from around here.
My house with
all
them
the
drugs.
You got your ass around there.
Right. And if that Shine Mo, I know your granny. I'm a show call her.
Yeah. I'm running off the block.
Serena, she said, "Ain't no fun if the homie can't have none." Listen, a song that I absolutely still think the music is genius, but my oh my, it is the worst message that you could possibly. Ain't no fun if my homie can't have none. Listen, I bumped that when Doggy Style came out. That shit didn't come out my tape deck. I was a senior in high school. People like, damn, you old. Fuck it. It is what it is. When that shit came out, it didn't come out my tape. And I said tape deck because I had a snatch out tape deck in my car, an Alpine.
Yeah,
It didn't come out my deck for like a month. Like we listened to that and the Chronic. We listened to that shit. Like if you woke up in the morning, you drove everywhere. It was all that. But we didn't try to do everything we heard on the Chronic except for smoke weed. That's all we really did was smoke weed. We wasn't really on all the other shit. Juice Lady in the building. What's going on, Courtney? How you doing tonight?
Damn, that was 93, Kev.
Yeah.
You went back and Google it.
I could have told you the year. I know what year I was a senior in high school, right? Nobody ever has to remind me that my ass is old, right? It's all good. I tell these people all the time, you better hope your ass live as long as me.
Look, I started high school 10 years later. Yeah.
Right. You know, hey, I had graduated from college then and shit. I was working for MPS. You got out of high school. God damn. You're a baby. No, I'm just kidding. Instead, I never hit my son with anything, including my hands. However, I did grab his 13-year-old neck and asked him if he wanted to do something. He said, Dad. I said, then he said, Dad. I said, then go to school and take care of business.
We gotta snap their ass up. Let them know something.
Beauty says, she said, look how everything is going on. Sisters killing each other. This stops the black culture of our lives being made. Serena says she remembers when I used to be on that shit heavy because she went to King with me. She said, General Homie. yeah, that was me. Like we was man in that we thought we was fucking, you know. I thought I was an outlaw then. I'm not. I wasn't. I was just a kid. I'm an outlaw now because I know the difference between the two. Back then, I was just lost. Dion said, "Hell yeah, I remember that I was going to Hamilton listening to the Chronic." Beauty says, I know this is backwards. Same-sex openness and parents don't have rights. Revenues goes to the streets. Our children. That's a lot. As Austin Dewar said, that's a lot to unpack. I'm gonna have to come back to that statement because, Rel, I want you to talk about social engineering from your perspective because you put it in the group.
I'm studying this right now too.
I just dug what he was speaking on. How he was saying how Beyonce them tell you to be an independent woman and praise the independent woman, but Rihanna, Beyonce, and Sierra got husbands. And he was saying how Jeezy them telling you to sell drugs, but then they are law-abiding citizens, don't even let their kids listen to music type shit. So I was just explaining how music works on the brain because I like just teaching people how shit work, and then they can do with that information what they will. So the brain is designed to identify patterns. It's designed to categorize shit, organize shit, and then file it in the back in your subconscious. So what happens is when you're listening to music, your brain, your prefrontal cortex is busy identifying the rhythm, the melody, listening to all the shit, making sense of the organization of it. So while your prefrontal cortex is distracted, those lyrics that you hear, you can't unhear anything that you ever hear. So whether you agree with the shit or not is penetrating into your subconscious, and it, whatever is in you eventually comes out of you in some form or fashion. So that's just what I was saying, the psychology of how music is used to program the subconscious. You program the subconscious through repetition, association, and symbolism. So when you constantly playing that song, now you singing that song along with the lyrics. Whatever comes out your mouth, whatever your mind hears you say, is an affirmation, whether it's positive or negative. Right, in agreement.
Your head in affirmation too.
Exactly. Oh yeah.
Remember we was talking about norms and how society has adapted to these norms. This is exactly what Rel is talking about, man. We hear it so much and it becomes the normal, right? Just like it goes right back to this snitching shit. You know what I mean? You even got sisters around here, man, carrying pistols, right? Thinking they got nuts. Talking about, snitch ass nigga and bitch ass nigga. You got sisters acting like they men around this place, acting like they straight fucking gangsters. You know what I mean? They telling they fucking kids at 2-3 years old, don't talk to the police, don't do it, all this adverse shit. So you raising your kids. What you
Sean,
not raising your kids?
But Sean,
your kids are being engineered.
Sean, I had female cousins who was doing that in the 70s though.
But you had a strong mother.
No. I'm saying there was no rap music yet, and that was already our mentality. So I feel like you taking the easy, not you in particular, but anybody like looking at this is taking the easy way out by blaming rap music, right?
No, music ain't the only thing. Music is just a major component.
Just one tentacle.
Right.
Music is just one tentacle. Right, it all goes into the norms that are being accepted and valued by society that are counterproductive and in total contrast to how we were raised.
Okay, so Mama Jenkins says, family, let's look at it like this. We as a people have gotten so relaxed and let anything go on in our society now. She said these motherfuckers is totally out of order and need to be put in the pit to burn. Our elders afraid to come out of their homes that they labored for. She said, I'm still trying to find a solution for these thuggish fools. Beauty said, when did it start? Music has been in our culture forever. So who drops the ball? You sang the lyrics of this music. Okay, I'm gonna get to that. Mama Jenkins said, I'm so sick of these people keep telling me take down my comments tonight. What the hell? I'm only making a comment. Yeah, I don't understand why Facebook is playing with me like that, Mama Jenkins, because I don't know. It's crazy. Right.
Let me break it down right quick.
Hold on. Beauty says it's also the food. Look how food. Okay, so hold on.
Exactly.
Let's go one at a time, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Black people go to jumping fences and shit.
But they all work together. They all work together.
Hey, one black person started running, the whole damn group started running. Pretty soon we got to stampede. Sean, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about this social engineering and our culture, right? They took God out of school. They took parenting out of parenting, right? They put the crack shit in the neighborhood, right? They start changing our music, right? Changing our dress. They changed our culture over the last 20, 30 years to what it has become now. We have adapted to what they engineered.
From my understanding, the world has always been a bad place, though. I don't see. I guess my parents didn't look back on the 60s and the 50s and say them was the good old days. My parents was like, that's some bullshit. Like my mother would say, what fucking good old days they talking about? My best days came. I've been living on 17th and Capitol in my own goddamn house. Ain't no other wasn't no good old days. She said we was poor as a motherfucker. We couldn't rub 2 nickels together. Wasn't shit good about that. The white man in Mississippi had his foot in our ass, and I came to Milwaukee thinking it was gonna be sweeter, and they was at us too. So, what good old days are we talking about? Let me do this. Whoa. I'm showing off my technical capabilities.
I see that. Go, Kev.
I got another song.
This Dion, Kev, what's that? Dion.
What's going on,
Dion? Dion, don't be calling this line, man.
On this road. But listen, though, I definitely agree with a lot of you guys. Though society definitely has desensitized us, because I remember, I knew when society had desensitized us. It was back when, I don't know if you remember, when they killed Uday and Hussein, Saddam Hussein's sons, and they publicly displayed their bodies. It was a time you didn't see dead bodies on TV. You know what I'm saying? Now they'll show you the whole dead body, and we just be like, well, you know, it is what it is. You know, or like when the police standing on George Floyd's neck, and everybody was like, that nigga must have did something. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of looking at it like, damn, that police fucked up, until they really found out what was wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like every day you see something on the internet. You know, I remember back in the days we have this shit called Faces of Death. Now they have crazy shit. And I stopped. You know, I used to be fascinated with literally watching people getting their head blown off. Especially, they was showing it over there in them other countries, like they was just eating their ass up.
I
You know what I'm
hated that
saying?
shit.
Shooting them down. Yeah, and now I don't like to see that. You know, like if they're showing a fight on Facebook or something, and I'll be like, I don't want to see that because I don't want to see people that look like me harming one another. You understand what I'm saying? Like they really have, and I was saying that earlier too. Like I said, I watch the news all across the nation. And man, listen, I don't know what it is in our water, or if it just we've been self-programmed to hate one another. We are our own biggest enemy. I mean, like seriously. Like yesterday, I'm outside, you know, doing lawn work and washing my van, you know, just doing something, and I'm constantly watching the little guys across the street. And for some reason, I just don't trust them little niggas. Now they ain't never did nothing to prove me not to trust them. But them the only kids on our block, like for real. The rest of them like Asians and whites and older people, you know, homeowners. But they the only people on our block, and that house is a hood house, I believe. I'm not quite sure, but they ain't never did nothing to me for me not to trust them. But I see that they young, they guys gravitate over there, and then you know people, you know I'm a shoe enthusiast, so I'm constantly ordering Jordans and Air Max or whatever. And sometimes when my shoes come up missing, I be thinking one of them little niggas is stolen. You know what I'm saying? But society has definitely desensitized us. So go ahead, Kel.
No, I that's that we look at. You see yourself in them little young dudes. That's why you go on guard. See, I know. I see. I know it when I see it. So I can look and say, "Oh shit! Oh, here these motherfuckers. I'm finna go." Because I know how it was when we rolled back up in that motherfucker back in the days. It'd be like, oh, these niggas on some bullshit. And we were. 9 times out of 10, we was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you ain't wrong for, kind of side at him. I just get a ring and a camera. So when you come snatch my J's off.
Yeah, but I don't be looking at it like that. Because, you know, like how you is, like you just said, I still uphold the honor and the code of being a part of a certain organization. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I fully am a gangster to heart. Like, I don't care where I go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's to the world blow up. You understand what I'm saying? But I also understand that I don't uphold those codes and values. So it's like, I'm torn within myself, because I know I get on one of these niggas. You know what I'm saying? I can't run like I used to, but woo out the band, it's whatever. You know, watching shows and stuff, you know, I'll be like sitting at home, like, if I got to off somebody, no face, no case, know how to get rid of the weapon, whatever, because I don't own a firearm, because I got an F behind my name, so I don't even participate in that stuff. But society, like the first 48 should have never came on, because the first 48 is show dead people that have lost their lives and stuff like that. It's a family grieving behind that, and we just looking at it like, that nigga about to break. That nigga about to break. I told you that nigga about to tell on everybody. You feel what I'm saying? So it's crazy on how society has trained us like that, man. And, you know, like I said, I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, to a certain extent, I still uphold those values. You know, just out here in the streets. And you know, I look at a little nigga, and instead of telling him, man, get a job or whatever, I'll be like, man, why you don't grab a pack, man? Like my thing is with these little niggas out here, they so strong. I'll be so effed up with these little niggas out here so strong on catching a body and murder. But we was coming up, we was trying to grab bricks.
We was trying to get money.
We trying to get money. My little brother was just, you know, niggas out here grabbing 20 and 30 of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas out here, you know.
But Dion,
we want to ride, shine, and
that was all.
That
was all wrong. It was all counterproductive.
I know it was.
Hold on. We justified by saying I was trying to get some money. But there's a million things you could do for some money besides that. Now, we all bought into it. I get what you're saying, but I'm saying we gotta call a spade right now and say that's wrong.
Yeah,
so instead of telling the youngster get a pack, I'll ask him, what do you really want to do with your life? If he says all I want to do is be out here and get this money, I say, well, proceed. If he say, nah, man, shit, I want a career or something, man, I want to, then it's a different set of questioning in that. Okay, well, what do you like to do? What you interested in? And then show him a path. Well, you know you can get certified to do that, right? You know they make X amount of money a year. Now, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go and get you a little legal hustle until you get this degree. Now, there's another misconception that all legal hustles are broke hustles. That's so false. You as a young man can go and get you a job that pays you well enough to take care of yourself. Now, if you're gonna go have 5 babies and think you're gonna work at Walmart, you shit out of luck. But if you just a young man coming up, you can get a job, you go get a little, and it ain't gotta be busting your ass in a factory like they pouring hot metal and shit. Most of this shit's computerized now. You walk around a warehouse scanning boxes all day, riding on the forklift. And see, we got to teach them that instead of saying go grab a pack, because the pack is going to lead them to the grave or to jail. There's no other way about it.
You ain't never lied though.
I know. I'm not shitting on what you're saying. I'm just saying, us as grown men, there's a maturation process that we have to go through, and it's not just going through it, but it's also coming back. It's also paying it forward. It's also reach one, teach one. Be willing to say to a youngster, say, man, you know it's a better way than that. Now, if he say, oh, whole ass nigga did it, all right, you got it, right? You got it. But if he say, man, what you talking about? Hey, man, shit, I can tell you about it, man. Man, can you help me do that? Absolutely. Absolutely, I can help you do that. If we get more into that mentality, we have to start righting the wrongs we did. Kamar and I just talked about this. If you was in the 90s, in our generation, and you was getting your pack off, you was fucking up the community, and you caused long-term damage. And we thought, well, I'm just getting my money. How many of these kids out here right now are the children of those parents or the grandchildren of those parents that we were serving?
These little niggas ecstasy babies now, though. I ain't gonna lie.
Dion always got pushed off the accountability.
Right. That's Courtney?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's me.
I gotta watch those girls. I ain't keep my eye.
That's right. Bye, Dion. Bye.
Hey, edit me.
Bye, Dion.
But I'm coming through this road, man. I'm out here in Eden, Wisconsin out here, man. I'm coming through this back road on 45, headed back to Grafton, man. So I'm gonna tune back in, man. I love you guys, man. I'm happy we had this camaraderie every day, this brotherhood, where we can say brotherhood. I feel y'all. I'm about to jump on YouTube, man.
All right, man.
All right. Yeah, love.
You see how, do we all see how quick that changed? You know what I'm saying? First, every time he hopping on, hey, Juice Lady, hey, Courtney. Now it's niggas like, oh, no, it's that Courtney. Let me get the phone, man. Let me go.
Oh my God.
Switch up, be real,
brotherhood.
Brotherhood. That be real, don't it?
Let me point something out, KB.
What's the deal?
I was listening to what he said and what you said, right? Y'all approach and how he approached them and how you approached them, right?
Okay.
And we spoke about this, how it really, to really reach somebody, right, you have to understand the audience that you're approaching. And sometimes you got to step out of your comfort zone. He approached him, he was comfortable approaching him like that because that's him. You know what I mean? That's him. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But a little street nigga, when you approach him like that, automatically his thing is, well, I'm in the streets. I want you to know I'm in the streets. I don't want to lose my reputation. I ain't going, no, nigga, I don't want to do that shit. You know what I mean? I'm getting this bag. But you came totally different. Right away, yours was with options. His was, why ain't you getting this bag, little nigga? There's a difference, man. And how we approach these kids today, we have to understand that being from the streets, right? They expect something. They expect you to approach them that way. When you show them that you can offer alternatives and options because you went through this shit and you learned about these alternatives and these options, man, and you lay it out in a certain way, man, they'll accept that shit. I got a video on my page right now. I took 6 of them cats off of Atkinson, and I asked them if I gave them a certain amount every week, would they get off the streets? Now, one of them young cats told me no. I didn't tell, hey, say, man, why ain't y'all doing this? Y'all can't do this. Don't do this. I presented them a package, a beautiful package,
right, and
that they could not turn down.
Okay, I'm hearing what you're saying, Sean, because you're talking about the approach, what's known as pedagogy, right? Which is basically your teaching method. Y'all got a new word tonight.
Pedagogy. Yeah.
Trust me, I still owe the government for some of these words. Pedagogy.
No, I like my new words. Pedagogy,
yeah, they are. These words are on layaway. Trust me, I still owe for this shit. It is basically your teaching method, right? And so, for me to tell a young man, "Hey man, get this pack," is fucked up because I'm encouraging him to go down a road that he may not make it out of. I know what happens at the end of this movie. I seen it, right? And I can tell him where you headed. I don't care if you have this apex where we balling like a motherfucker. We out here in these streets, we riding, we doing what we gotta do. It is what it is. That's what we say, man. It's time to do what we gotta do. But I know when it starts to come back down to earth. Indictments, people getting killed, retaliation, motherfuckers suffering calamities because of the negative energy that they're putting into the air. See, a lot of times you don't pay for your mistake. The people who you love pay for your mistakes, right? So you getting all this money and you having all this privilege, and all of a sudden your little baby get hit by a car, or your little son get drowns, or your wife has cancer, or it starts to manifest in other ways because of what you're putting out there. So ultimately, you will end up sitting somewhere all alone, trying to figure out what the fuck just happened. Wait a minute, how the fuck I end up here? But the song says shit was all good just a week ago. And so that's why I would never encourage that young man to go there. And I would tell him, if you want to hear it, if you want help, you want to help yourself, I'm willing to do it. But if you got your mind made up that this is what you want to do, I'm willing to let you do that too. Because one thing I don't do is force myself on nobody or nothing. Right? Yeah. If you want it, you can have it. If you don't, I put it back in the box and take it home with me. I'm not gonna make it. Right?
And then to put on top of what Kev said, 5 types of pedagogy are constructivist, collaborative, integrative, reflective, and inquiry-based learning. You know what I'm saying? Just to add to pedagogy that we just learned about.
Courtney's so dope. She the lady in church that the pastor used to say, read. And then and the Lord said, they put that voice on when they read for the pastor and shit.
Right. Sister Francois, would you like to read that scripture for me? It's teaching methodologies, man. I'm trying to tell you, and there's many different ways to do it. And so you learn. If you got a classroom, when I had a classroom, I had to figure out everybody's learning style.
Yeah.
Or I couldn't teach because it's not one size fits all. So I had to make sure I balanced out visual shit. Come up to the board and do this, read out loud, write down, see if your reading comprehension is here. I know you hear what I'm saying, but do you understand it? Those types of things. And so this kind of led to the whole, when we were young, we had to take the Iowa basic skills, right? Which was super one-sided standardized test, but they determined whether your ass was smart or dumb based on this shit. No, you a plumber, you an architect. But based on a one-sided ass standardized test, right? Which we later found out was fucking rigged in the first place, right? So this is what I grew up in. Vince says, to add to Relly job, there's nothing else in your consciousness or subconsciousness to conceptually or decipher information, you become brainwashed, traumatizing. Judy said that's been there. So who is the foundation of our community right now? Ooh, that's the $1 million question.
Ooh, who's the foundation?
Right.
We don't have a foundation because we don't have an identity.
Okay. Okay. I would say Milwaukee doesn't have a foundation. I just got to put it out there.
Yeah, Milwaukee
because our leadership is piss poor. There's no other way to do it. And I'm saying that. And this is I tell politicians this all the time. This is not personal. This is business. You might be the nicest guy in the world, but you suck ass as an elected official, right? It's like I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm trying to give you a sense of where the people are coming from. When we are in this community, right, and we keep allowing them to put rose-colored glasses on us and tell us there's this anti-violence initiative coming. We have this plan. We're gonna go back and dig up my brother's keeper from Obama. What the fuck are you talking about? Obama, how long ago did Obama leave office, right? And once again, this is why I hate having these conversations, but it's Outlaw Radio because I don't want to call nobody in particular out, but I'm going to talk about this. Obama's been gone 8 years, right? He's been out. He finished his term 8 years ago. We had to go through Trump. We're going through Sleepy Joe right now. There was nothing done at that time with my brother's keeper. There's nothing done with it since. So in the city of Milwaukee, why do you turn around and go back and dig up that shit and say, look what we did?
Because we allowed them to.
Okay.
Because we allowed them to. We allowed them to.
Okay.
Leadership is only as strong as those who guide them, right? We know what they're doing. But do this for me. Ask your audience right now to name 5 things that they want to see change in the city.
5
specific things. You can't because everything.
5 specific things.
I'm on get rid of the motherfucking bump out.
We can come up with an agenda and agree on that agenda, right? Until we can. We have to unify, man. If we unify and start to demand what is rightfully ours, right? And motherfucker, if you're not going to do it, we're going to eradicate your ass. Whether you're a politician or you in these streets, right? We have to come together at some point, man.
At this point, I'm thinking that's not going to happen, Sean. I'm right now. I'm prepared to move forward without that happening.
Our race will soon be in danger.
What soon be? Where you been?
We're not. We're not. You ain't seen shit yet, homie.
Okay.
You ain't seen shit yet.
Vince says, as I continue, colonization is real. Let me get my chat room up. She said, salvers. I don't know if that's the word you meant to say, Beauty. Salvers in the political world. She said, internet, the captions of this time, everything is in the palm of your hands. Mm-hmm. She says, Wall Street's black. Wall Street's black. I'm thrilled. She said, not to call any names. Look at the president and all the presidents that have been in the White House. You don't bring the underdog to the White House just to championship people. Look, well, you know, second place is the first winner. I mean, the first loser, though. So you already know that if you win or go home, right? I believe in that, too, though. What I'm bringing the underdog for, you lost. Now, if you're the underdog and you win, you come to the White House, but you lost. So, right. You know, Mama Jenkins said, tell Dion they didn't show dog kissing people either or men kissing men either, but now it's free for all. You better not trust them because when I see 2 or more are up to something, years ago, when you show a group of young folks, they were coming from the playground. Yeah, but a lot of bullshit went on at the playground, Mama Jenkins. Woo-wee. A lot of people's lives was changed at the playground. Yeah. She said, where's Bill Cosby? Where is that young man that they undersigned Kanye West? Where are the people that's against him and why? Yet Jamie Foxx is being set up by who? Beauty, you on fire tonight. You are bamming away at the keyboard. I'm dizzy.
Hey, she's saucy. Hey, Kim, she's saucy.
She's saucy. She's saucy tonight. Tiasha said, I'm not encouraging these young people to do anything illegal. Why would I want to see them go 6 feet under or to Waupun? I think what Dion was saying is that he wants to establish like a way to relate to them. But here's the problem with that. As an adult, you have to be an adult with a kid. It's not your I'm not your friend. I'm not this is the one thing. When I used to coach football, right? When I coached high school football, right? I sound like Al Bundy. I coach high school football. I used to coach at Washington, right? And I knew I knew the demographic I was dealing with these boys, right? And I understood that they were coming from a place where there were not a lot of black men who showed them any kind of attention or try to encourage them to do anything. But at the same time, I knew that black man had to be an authority figure. So what I used to tell my kids, because I treated my kids that I coached like I was treated by coaches. I had coaches who wore my no, I won't say wore my ass out because this is not the right time to say that. I'll say they worked me. No, I can't say that either. It was hard. It was hard practices, right? It was very hard practice. I say, and so I was a hard coach. Well, I made them work hard, right? And so, and I was very demanding. How about that? And so they'd be looking at me like I hate your guts, but I used to make it clear to them, I'm not your friend, and y'all ain't my friend. I'm your coach. Now we can get into whatever. I'll help you with whatever you want, but we're gonna establish some guidelines in this relationship. I'm the adult here. I'm the authority. And so that's the way I always deal with youngsters. Like, look, man, I ain't here to really blow smoke up your ass. Pause. I'm really here to tell you the truth. I'm really here to let you know, man, you headed down a fucked up road. And this is the only language you understand. Because if I come off too articulate, you say, damn, he was corny. He sounded like a white dude. I got to throw some capital in there every now and then with it. I understand that, but I'm not going to tell you to pick up no bag. I'm going to tell you, man, all you got to do is look around and see where the people who you've known who've done that, where did they end up at? Now you gonna tell me you finna be the smartest nigga that ever lived and beat all that ain't gonna happen to me. All right, good luck. Good luck, buddy. We'll see you in about 10 to 15. Vince said, Beauty Waddington, they don't want you to know. I'm in Guam, ate some soup that has pork broth. I became lethargic, sleepy as heck, and could not function. I had to sleep it off. He talked about the food, and that's why we got Kamar here. Shout out to Stephanie Bowles. How you doing, my sisters? Long time you ain't been with us for a minute. Some people still be listening. I be thinking because they don't comment, they're not listening. I try to get everybody involved. She said you hit the nail on the head with the leaders, Kevin. I truly believe Milwaukee leadership. Once again, I have to say this because people get it twisted. Like, man, I know dude, man. That's my cousin. I went to middle school with dude. He all right. Just because you know him or he related to you don't mean he's good at his job. All right. Now he might be a nice motherfucker, right? Like that's the homie. Got it. He ain't got no business with this job he got because he fucking up everything, right? And so I say our leaders we don't take them to task enough. We as a community, like these bump outs that they putting out here, this is happening. Our streets, our side streets look like Beirut. I haven't heard anybody. Now, if you out there and you doing it, let me know so I can support you and you can come on the show and tell me what you've been doing. Who's hollering at downtown saying, before y'all done this shit, y'all should have fixed our streets where we pay property taxes at. This is what I'm saying about our leadership. It's always putting paint where it ain't supposed to be as opposed to putting paint where it ain't. Right? And so go ahead, Sean.
You're making a point, man. Leadership is only as strong as those who guide them, right? We sit on the radio. We're active. We talk about it. We speak out about it, right? But even with us speaking out about it, that's not enough. We need to start rallying people, man, so that we can reinforce pushing these motherfuckers to do the right thing instead of just talking about this shit, right? Because as long as we talk about it and we not doing nothing we not showing up at them fucking meetings and we not voicing our opinion downtown, they gonna keep on superseding whatever the fuck we want them to do. And that's how they gonna play it. Well, shit, we ain't got an answer to them because we not showing up. We're not guiding our leadership yet. We are reinforcing the title of leadership every time we call them leaders. And they're doing nothing. They're not leaders. They're people in office doing nothing right now. Show me that you're a leader and do what the fuck I elected you to do, nigga. Well, get your fuck ass out of office.
Hey, stated there's only somebody on Outlaw Radio could state it, right? Fuck out of office, motherfucker. Right. That's the type of shit we be on. Y'all hit us up, share the show. It's a Monday night. We're doing live from the basement. I want to give y'all the number again. So if you want to call in, you can actually call in. The number is 262-202-5131. Scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I'm covering my banner. It's very important that I reiterate this. I'm dedicating this show to my little homie Danye, and I say rest in peace to Yayo the Don. If you from the neighborhood, you know the name fit him, man. And when I say Yayo the Don, not because he was the world's biggest criminal, it's because he was a smooth, smart, well-liked brother. It was a thing where I've never personally ran into anybody who said, when I see Ye, I'm whooping his ass, right? Like I've seen any time in the neighborhood, it's like, man, that boy Ye just left here, man. That boy a fool. It was always love, is what I'm saying. And he was taken from us last week. 44 years old, father of 4, grandkids, had come home to Milwaukee to attend his cousin, the homie Big Vic, who's also from the neighborhood. He passed away. And Ye had been gone for, I guess, 3 years, relocated to Georgia. That's why the news, so I keep saying, the news don't be knowing what the fuck they talking about. Georgia, man. First of all, Ye is from the mill, right? He had moved. He's off act. He had moved, but he's from here. So I'm just looking at the news saying, what the fuck is y'all talking about? But that's why I'm dedicating this show to Yayo, man. I can't do nothing because I obviously can't bring him back. But this whole weekend, I felt some kind of way about it. But then my son had an AAU tournament, so I went to his tournament and I watched these young brothers playing basketball and being, active and getting off, burning some of that youthful energy in the gym. And I thought about, it's a blessing just to see this group of brothers, because I felt like at least these young brothers ain't on the street, right? And they was 14U, 15U, 16U, 17U. And I got to shout out to brother Rick Bradley for that, because regardless of what's said and I have my own whatever, but if you can take young brothers and get their attention on something else and get them to try and to them, that's big. Bro, I get to go and play in the AAU tournament. We going to Illinois next month. We going to Minnesota. Like you're changing their perception. So I have to shout him out. So Kamar was talking about how dope it was that he was going through some weirdness, some weird energy, and then it ended up with him with T-Buck's little shorty. And I'm saying Kamar made me think about it like it actually ended, because I got to see mine get off. Like he is who they said he is, right? Like as a father, I don't know. This is another thing that makes me tell youngsters to square up, because you have not lived until you watch your child do something, accomplish something, right? Learn something. You ain't, man, and Sean Moore, you and me went back and forth when our sons played against each other last fall. And
man, I loved it. I loved it. Yes, right. I loved it.
Both of our old asses was acting like we was out there. My wife like, men are horrible.
Supporting our kids and supporting each other kids.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Shit, man. Beautiful shit.
So it's rewards. It's rewards in getting to the point where you make it out of the foolishness, and that's what I would try to tell the youngsters. Is that, hey man, there's so much more to live for. Call, I need for you to turn your device down. You got a massive echo. Black people be trying to hear themselves on the show. You got to turn it down. Uh-oh. Am I gonna have to eliminate this call?
Maybe.
Turn your TV down.
Yeah, you got to turn everything. You can't have V100 in the background. Reggie Brown and shit in the background talking about V100. What's the dude name who giggle all the time on 98.3? Every time he says something. Earl Stokes. Yeah. What's going on?
Hey, Earl Stokes.
What?
Uh-oh. We're going to have an error with the phone system in a minute. What's going on? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, this is Beauty.
What's going on, sis?
Because, I wanted to make a comment on the show about the bumps that's on the side. And we just had 4 people to die. And it wasn't the speed bumps that had nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
We had the baby to get ejected from the car. So all of those speed bumps is a delay in they're trying to control traffic.
Right.
And also with the bus has the right of way to the right lane. Mm-hmm. So it puts us to we get behind because we need that right lane to be open. Now they're not doing this in Waukesha. They're not doing this in Racine. They're not doing this in no other community but Milwaukee. Instead of them taking all of that concrete that they are using to fix the potholes, that's what they should be doing. All up and down 35th Street. It's horrible. And then if it's an emergency vehicle that needs to get through for your families, my families, there's a big delay. So whoever thought about putting those up, I don't think they did the whole process of thinking everything out.
Yeah, I agree. It happened too fast. And this is what I'm saying. You got these people who probably think that they're great leaders because of this, but I'm like, this should have been something that was weighed out. Now they'll say, well, they'll probably say we have meetings about this. People didn't come. I think it should have been. I think you do that because you know people ain't gonna come. I think you should have given this more light to say, hey, Milwaukee, this is what we're gonna be left with, right? But I think there had to be a different way to handle this than to put, because you could have even taken cones or just barricades and purchase them and put them in these lanes so that they can remove them. You put concrete curves.
Concrete.
Like
instead of fixing, I had my tire. I was driving down Locust Street and a big pothole bigger than me. I bust my tire.
Wow.
And no, they don't replace their tire anymore because of the potholes. They just say, no, we don't. This is not on our agenda to fix.
Yeah. It's
then
our
they
leadership.
got all of these roundabout. What are you putting roundabouts for? And I guess they get it from a different state to know that slows traffic down. But regardless, whatever they put up, it's not stopping the shootings. It's not stopping the things that's already happening in the community. And I know that they don't put everything on TV versus what all they put in Milwaukee. Now, for the last 24 hours, if you read Newsbreak or whatever, in Milwaukee, they've had over 20 today deaths.
24, I believe it is.
24?
24 homicides.
Okay, so it's more than I have saw, and it ain't got nothing to do with them speed bumps on the side of the road.
Right. And
you know
so,
what I mean? So
well,
what are the leaders?
The thing with that is this, okay. It's 55 homicides, I believe, to this date, I think. All right, go ahead, Sean.
They got the peacekeepers, don't they?
Who's the peacekeepers?
The guardian angel.
Where they at though? Man. I mean, look at Hamilton House. They got all kinds of stuff jumping off of these schools. And school is almost out.
Cause, like I just said earlier, right? It's cool that we talk about this shit on here, right? But what I need is this same energy. I need you and 10 of your friends and 10 of their 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 friends to meet me somewhere where we can put this shit in their face, right? When they
we don't need to put anything in their faces if we don't have a plan. What's the plan?
Listen to.
Uh-oh.
You don't have a plan. Well,
I have a plan.
That's okay. You got a plan. I got a plan. Kamar got a plan. Listen. You got a plan. Kamar got a plan. I got a plan. Real got a plan.
Kev.
All we got to do
is
communicate with each other. Is we sit down and we
right.
Hold on. One thing, black people always yelling. Either that or they typing in caps. Let's take a deep breath, right? Let's take a deep breath. Hold on, Vince. Vince is trying to hit me up. Hold on, Vince. Let me catch my chat room. He said at the meeting, your Mayor Johnson said that they would be re-engineering the streets and be prepared for orange barrels. The meeting was not recorded or announced to the public, nor did Shannon King go into depth about the plan. Let me see. Mama Jenkins says, KB, I've been yelling at this leadership for the last 10 years, and I let them know that you don't live over here in my hood, but you're an elected person that can be removed. I called today, and goddamn, hold on, Vince. Let me see if I can bring it in. He said, I called today. Hold on, Vince. You got to turn it down. I called today and told them to get their asses out here and get on these motherfuckers to clean up their yards. I don't want to look at this shit, nor do I want my hood looking like this. I told them to come bring some tickets over here because that's the only thing these color folks understand. I knocked on the doors, but I don't have the second part of your statement yet, Mama Jenkins. Vince Tony, what's good, man?
Hey, man, I'm calling all the way from
Vince.
Breaker, 1-9, 1-9. Over and out, good buddy.
Right. You sound like okay.
Brick 195.
Right. Bandit, right?
I got a question.
I got that phone from here.
What's that? Go ahead, Rail.
Yeah, so my question is, and I understand how we need to come together and figure out, what we actually want, but like rallies and shit like that, I don't see any. Has anybody studied any of the other cultures to see how they get they shit did? Because like I said, I live on the northwest side, and it's becoming like little Hmong town over here, and I don't have a problem with it. I mean, I ain't got a problem with it, but I'm just trying to figure out how they getting they shit off like that. Like, has anybody studied any of these other communities to see what the fuck they doing? I don't see Hmong people rallying. I don't see them protesting and shit. Like, man, they Kohl's is they supermarket now.
Right.
Morris is they school and shit.
Yes,
like, they making moves.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, you know what? You know what I feel like? I feel like they ain't worried about voting either. You know what I mean? They more worried about buying the politician.
Yep, and then if you go in the valley.
How about that one? That's what we need to be doing. We need to quit worrying about the vote so much and buy the politician.
Okay, Kumar, I think we missed one point here though. Okay.
Because ain't none of them doing what we want.
And I have experience working with them because that school was one of my schools at one point when I was with College Possible.
Okay.
I got a real inside look at how the school functions and the administration and the academic achievements in the school.
They had unity.
They have solidarity. Okay. Now, they weren't torn apart. They were not ravaged as we were. Now, they went through a whole different kind of traumatic episode.
Mm-hmm.
They were actually booted from wherever they went for a long time. Right. And so they come over here, but they came over here together. Their women, I'm saying this, their women get with their men. Their children adapt to their culture. They can speak their own languages in their own dialect. They still appreciate their own music. They are right in the middle of a black community flourishing right before our very eyes.
Right.
Like you said.
Hell yeah.
The store, Pacific Produce or whatever, like you got 3 or 4 pho restaurants over here. I love pho, by the way. I must put that out there.
My lady love that shit.
I love pho.
It's just fancy ass ramen.
Like, man, wait a minute now.
You gotta know what to get in it. You gotta
You gotta go to the right one, man.
I'm just saying. But
no, y'all can enjoy
there's 3 of those restaurants over here, right? And so they have made it where we got a school that's K through 8, I believe. I mean K through 12, I believe. They took Morris Middle School. That was my spot where I could go with my RCs. They had a playground and a big field, and I could roll, right? Man, that shit's gated off and locked up. Now they didn't put a soccer field over there. They got little kid, they got a playground, everything just for them. It's for them unapologetically. Yeah. The white man is championing them. He's not stepping in trying to fuck it off. Now, with us, when we try to do the same thing, because it's the Hmong American Peace Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the African American Peace Academy at?
Let's open that shit. Come on. Right. We gotta have the word peace in there though. That's probably what it is.
So like, is it anything they doing that we could apply? Like, is there
we ain't African American. We are
Black American. Black Peace Academy. Then shit, Black Peace Academy.
It's all semantics. It's all semantics. They trying to get in African American, right? Okay. Where's the Black American Peace? Where's Bapa at? The Black American Peace Academy.
No, that's what we
KC. So Rail spoke about rallying, right? I'm not talking about rallying. I'm talking about showing up when they have their press conferences to push their narrative about us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And us controlling that with our presence and demanding what we want. And if we can get people from this show, man, to show, you don't have to show up to rally. You show up as a voice of what you want. If we show up with a list of demands that we want, and we have a voting base that they have to recognize.
Where's the
That's
voice?
What it's about.
Where's the voice?
Them moms, listen, them moms, yeah, they got the white boy back on. That's because if one mom say we going to vote, guess what? Every mom in the fucking city going to vote, and they gonna vote as one mom.
Okay.
One.
The Black Social tried that, and when they did that, we had some elected people that really shied them away by leaving them outside in the cold rain. And that was so unnatured. I could not believe that we as a people stood outside at the polls to vote. It was a whole bunch of people outside to vote.
In the middle of COVID.
Exactly.
Right,
in the middle of COVID.
So
we was on the air.
Let me ask you this, because how many of them people came together and said, you know what, next election we voting this motherfucker out?
No, but listen, the people that were
How about next election we put this money together and pay for what we want them to do?
Hold
like
on,
everybody else doing.
What Kamar?
I'm trying to.
I said, how about next time it's time to vote, we put this money together and pay for a politician to do what we want them to do, like everybody else do,
there
like the LGBT people.
Now
we're
talking about solutions. That's how we fix this shit.
Stephanie Bowles says, advertise. Posted on Facebook, Zoom meeting for us to communicate our voice to them people in office, advertising the upcoming meetings like y'all do. She said, what y'all do with them fake ass elections, what they have in mind for the ghetto, 53206 approved. That's coming down the pike. That's gentrification. Mama Jenkins said the Hmongs have a system and they keep their shit for them. Listen, I live across the street. Yep. I live across the street from at least 3 of those families over here, right? And they do what they do. They'll have a party, 70,000 of them there. It ain't no fight. Don't nobody shoot their gun up in the air. And I'm not saying they better than us, and I'm not saying Hmong ice is colder. For you all y'all want to be Hmong. I'm saying,
what you saying is they party is safer.
They have this solidarity where they actually
still have a sense of community. Like they just bought the crib, not they, damn. But on my block, so my block was, my neighbors was white, like real shit. My neighbors was white. And the people behind me was white. They bought the house behind me, and then 2 houses down, that house wasn't even for fucking sale. No sign, no nothing. I just see niggas moving out one day and Hmong people moving in the next. But they cool. They can't introduce themselves. They be, like they big on community. Like when somebody busts my lady window, they cameras caught it. They came, knocked on my door, let me know. So it do feel like, no shit, it do feel more community based now that my neighbors now that they my neighbors, because shit, we be talking about gardening, they be gardening and shit, they be growing whole farm shit in their yard.
They get it in, they cold with it, man. I've been down there, I've been down there at Alice's garden, and it's a few of them down there with some plots, right? Man, I watched this one lady. She will flip that plot, man, like 4-5 times in one summer.
Yeah, so we be talking up about that and shit. So it's fucked up that it's more community on my neighborhood now that it's a Hmong neighborhood type shit.
Stephanie Bowles, I don't know why anybody's comments are getting flagged. It's not something that I can control. We simulcast the show. So it's on YouTube and it's on Facebook. It's in our Outlaw Radio on our Outlaw Radio page, and it's on my personal page. She said her comments have white flags on them. I don't know why. I know Mama Jenkins says she's gotten a couple warnings, and it's like I don't know why.
The show might be being watched.
Right.
It's all good. It's all good. I mean, I don't want anybody to think they don't know where your ass is, anyways. I mean, come on,
right?
Like black people be like, they be listening, but they stay on the phone talking shit, right? Like, if you got a cell phone, they know where your ass is, right? Black people trying, right? Man, the friends be on that. Okay, you ain't gonna throw it out the window. You leave the house without your phone, you'll come all the way back home. Like, man, I forgot my phone, bro. Like, yeah. So the feds can track you because it's pinging off towers as you're moving. But no, I will say this. In my neighborhood, the ones that live over here, they pose no harm, no threat, but they're not my friends either. They don't come over and talk to me. If I see them, they'll wave because they know I live here with my family. So they'll wave, I'll wave. There's one in particular, one of those people, as Rail would say.
Damn.
I
have no
my daughter was in high school.
People. They the niggas of the Asian world.
Right.
That's why
when my daughter was in high school, she caught the bus to King, right? So I used to take her to the bus stop every morning. Because it'd be really early in the morning, it'd be dark outside. I'm not finna have my baby girl walking it, you know what I mean? So I used to get up, take her to the bus stop. But there was another Hmong gentleman, and I don't know if he was the father, I don't know who he was, but there was 4 of them who went to King as well. And so every morning, I'm sitting there, he's sitting there. He waved at me, I wave at him. I drove past the other day, he looked at me like, oh, homeboy. I'm like, what up, man? I know that was bad that I did that. But that's in my mind, that's what he said. In my mind, that's what he said.
I thought he said this shit for real.
Right. No. He didn't say it. I'm just in my mind, I'm thinking he said, that's the homie. But he was like, yeah. So yeah, but he not for nothing. Like I said, I see them coming to the liquor store and buy 1,000 Bud Lights and do whatever. And shout out to, because we had KT Killing Them on here, who is a Hmong rapper from here. Remember that, Kamara, when we had KT Killing Them? And he talked about, how their community is. They have some issues. They have some issues amongst their youth. I worked with several of them at St. Charles who were locked up for gang banging. We Asian Crips and this kind of thing. And I was like, Asian Crips?
When I went to Morris, it was like ABCs and BBCs or something, bad boy something, and Asian bad. It was something, but they was really about their shit.
Yeah, they'll get on your ass. And if you go to Minneapolis where they deep at, they'll roll out on you. Be like 40 of them in a little hat. I know I shouldn't have said that either. I can't help myself. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, bad host. I promise you I'm not a racist until you make me be.
But if you to our communities, if you look into our communities, what do you see now? You see people from Pakistan. Well, they don't be in the community. Pakistan. You see a lot of Indians in our community. A lot of Japanese and Hmong people.
That's only during business hours, baby girl.
And no. Because they're cleaning out the inner city. They're only building apartment buildings. Look how they got Silver Spring over there. And then Barada with this $1 million thing, he got all of these people and he got all of this money. How did you come from a different country and own the city of Milwaukee?
Cause we know why. We know why. We because we allowing this shit.
We're not allowing it.
We're allowing this one person who has this money to dictate what happens in parts of our city, and we know it, and we don't go down there and challenge that shit. We allow the media to control narratives and shit. We allow the people that we elect to spew lies, right? And do what they want to do, and yet we still elect them. We will fight amongst each other, right, about who not to elect, instead of saying, okay, you know what? We're not going to elect none of these motherfuckers. We're going to agree on this motherfucker, and this motherfucker going to know that, nigga, if you don't do the right thing, guess what? Your punk ass up out of there too, right? Mm-hmm. We got to stop talking about what the fuck is going on.
So, Sean, let me ask you this, though. With what you just said, I'd like to know this. Mm-hmm. Where is the voice of the people who are anti-bump out? I haven't yet to see a community, because now I always make the parallel of the way we had to regulate crack. because it had got to a point where it had devastated our community so bad that the people said, hey man, they gonna come lock your ass up and we don't care. Now is it that the people in Milwaukee are like, well, something has to be done, so I'm not against the bump outs? Because I really feel like these shouldn't have been made permanent concrete structures. I felt like they should have been, you know, even something like rubber. Like they make these things, they make these things that you can remove. These don't have to be concrete slabs. So I don't see right now, where's the outcry? Where's people saying, what y'all doing?
Let me tell you where it comes from, bro. Right?
On social media.
Where does that voice come from, right? How many listeners do you got?
I said, where's it at?
We're on social media.
Where's it at? It's right here. This is the conversation that needs to be heard, right? And what I'm saying to you is, if we push the narrative and we have your audience push the narrative to their friends every day, right? Listen, man, this is what we got to do. And we ain't got to meet up. We have technology. We have the means to access each other every day, to hold these conversations and to bring other people into these conversations, right? And we can enact that change by being that voice. Outlaw Radio has a voice.
Let me tell you something. I don't. Once again, here's my deal. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you because I can't own up to nobody else's shit but mine. I feel like if somebody don't want shit, I'm not gonna offer it to them. And I really feel like in Milwaukee, a lot of these people don't want change. This is how I feel. Now, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. Hold on. I feel like when I have gone out, when I've been out here on the front lines for my people, standing up to the powers that be, the biggest backlash I got was from my own people. This is why I put even my show out here for those who want it. If you can digest it and you like what we talk about, that's fine. I'm not itching to be, some superstar, mega star. I like the way we do this is how we do it. We'll present the food. If you want to eat it, eat it. If you don't, leave the plate on the table. We'll figure something else out to do with it, right? And so this is why you don't see me trying to get town halls and go to meetings and rail on politicians at meetings. And I'm gonna go up here and tell them, because I'm gonna tell you, once they leave that meeting, they don't give a fuck what you just said anyways. They don't even care.
So let me ask you this, because you have formed this society with Outlaw Radio, right? We are a society. We meet regularly, right? We discuss topics that offer solutions to changing people's lives. We are a society.
That's right.
And we are a society, and we're living under the laws and rules as the rest of society, yet we're not pushing our demands on this society that we know is counterproductive to growth, right?
No, I disagree. I disagree.
Downtown is but that society can be controlled by the bigger.
I think Milwaukee is fully aware. I think Milwaukee is fully aware, especially Black Milwaukee. There's nothing new under the sun. This shit ain't secret. A lot of the shit they do now. Listen. Hold on, Sean. Hold on, Sean. A lot of the stuff that goes on right now is not even secret. They tell you what they're gonna do, right? You have so many people in this city, leaders, whatnot, that tell you because they announced this $30 million investment to reorganize our streets, and nobody said, "Well, what? Hold on." Nobody said, "What is it going to involve?" We said, "Well, let's see what they do," and what we getting is concrete bump outs. Is what we're getting now. Once again, Outlaw Radio might have this kind of importance that you're speaking of, but there should be other entities as well. When I can see somebody go and sit on a podcast for 15 minutes and talk about what the fuck Beyonce is wearing or who won a goddamn award and kill us in the numbers, And we talking about informed votership. We're talking about holistic living and healing. We talking about gardening, growing your own food, and education reform. We're talking about that. They numbers is triple ours. What that tells me is they don't want to hear what we're talking about. So I'm gonna touch the people that'll listen, because I do it for a cause, not an applause. If you listen and you tune in and you like what we talking about, I say that's cool, man. We can move a certain way, but I'm not itching to go out here and try to address the masses no more, because when we showed them rotten food being sold to them by Arabs in their own community, they told us leave them alone. When we went to the stores and said stop selling legal lean and K-12 to our kids, they said leave our Arabs alone. When we stood up for nonviolence, they said, man, y'all get the fuck up out of here, fake ass Panthers. That's what they wanted. So now you got it. When somebody got assaulted, at a corner store, they can talk all the shit they wanted to talk. Somebody got assaulted at a corner store. We go in there, we boycotting. We couldn't even get people to stop coming in the gas station. And we're standing there saying they just beat the shit out of two little boys last week. And people be like, man, these motherfuckers cool in the motherfucker, man. Y'all better go on with that bullshit. That means they don't want it. They don't want it.
They sell drugs. Everything they need for drugs, they sell it right in the community. There's nobody.
Hold on. Sean, you gotta let her talk, Sean.
People out of our community. We're not picketing or like Martin Luther King did when he wanted something to happen. They marched and they got the thing straightened out. We don't have leaders in our city to do this.
Okay.
Shout out to Michael King.
So that's
Martin
what we need.
man.
It's so much. You know, look at Marquette. Okay, look at the Marquette area. They don't want us down there at all. They want to cut the streets. They've been trying to do it for years. Not have anybody that's not at the college. They don't want them on Wisconsin at all. They've been trying to build that wall forever. Now they got the chance. It's only 2 buses that run on Wisconsin now. The 30 and the new bus they got, the electric bus. That's it. Okay. All the other buses have to take a detour to go the other way.
I ain't been on the bus in a long time.
How many black children go to Marquette? That's in the inner city.
It's minimal. It's very
not
minimal.
a lot.
My son be going to Marquette. Don't be acting like that. My son.
I got a niece going there for nursing.
Yeah,
right.
But yeah,
everybody got one person in their family who went to Marquette.
My son be down there.
In the 70s.
Right. So they could make a structured thing for these children. If you want a solution, that's where you start. Start at the colleges.
Well, I feel like
start
this.
At the school.
I feel like one of the reasons that they do that is because the truth is, you know, some of us, not all of us, but some of us go down there on their campus and be on some bullshit. The reason why we got concrete bump outs is because some of us in the community driving their cars be on some bullshit. Over this weekend, I was just moving around the city. I don't know how many times I was passed by and it's always the individual in the raggediest car. Like, and I don't know if they trying to hurry up and get home because they think the car might cut off, but it'd be the raggediest shit, and they whoom, and I'm like, with all that we're facing, this is still what you want. This is why we got bump outs,
man.
But, so our voice, before we go down there railing on Chevy and them, maybe we got to turn that voice inward and say, y'all stop with the bullshit. I'm dedicating this show to my homeboy Danye, who lost his life. Rest in peace to Yayo to Don. But he didn't get killed by a white man. He didn't get killed by a cop. He didn't get killed, out here trying to crusade or turn the tide against oppression so the white man assassinated him. He was living his life. His life was taken, presumably, by another brother, right? Presumably. I don't know if, I don't know. I'm going to assume. Stephanie said we got to get off these phones, meeting in person, underground, one-on-one. Yeah, but they got cameras in the street lights. So you got to get in the building somewhere. And so they see your ass going to that meeting. Oh, that's where they at. Okay. Right outside.
So therefore, they should know anything that happened in the city because they got eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
They even got the sheriffs in the sky right now to see if people are speeding. They can see everything that happens in every neighborhood.
And it still happens.
Know that.
Mama Jenkins.
If you turn to Facebook, you're going to see everything that happened in every neighborhood because somebody videoing it.
Yeah. Mama Jenkins said most of the people in office are black. Yeah, we got the first African American everything now. Everything first African American that ever did this, and this shit is
that don't be meaning shit.
Right.
Worse and worse. So they have to turn their faces. They're Uncle Tom. They sell out.
I can't necessarily call them Uncle Toms because I don't have exact proof of their tomery. I know that because in order for me to say that to another black man, I got to have hard evidence, right? It's a serious accusation. It's almost the worst thing. Like there's two things a man can say to another man that's like subterranean low. One is SMD, and one is to call him an Uncle Tom or a coon or a sellout, right? You know what I mean? So we got to be we'll throw that around and be like, you sell out ass motherfucker. And it'd be like, well, damn, like he's at work doing his job and shit. And, we a little emotional. But it appears that they have sold out. The fact of the matter is a lot of them just look at it like it's a job. I'm just doing my job. They don't step out of the bounds of what their job description is because they're safe. And how can you expect somebody who makes $85,000 a year to sympathize with somebody whose median income is $29,500? So we talk about an alderman that represents 53206. How can he or she actually relate to those people? Well, I'm gonna go head back home now. I'll see y'all later. And her ass went all the way back to wherever she lived. It ain't usually on the block with the people. So
wait, you tell me that Gwen Moore didn't live in the community before she became a representative of Milwaukee?
Before she became one. Once she got once she got that job, it's like he said on Friday. I know I was always a nigga talking about I ain't never leaving the hood. As soon as I got my check, I was gone. It's the same thing.
What do we have to the Superdome? I mean, I'm serious, y'all. Come on now. You got Scott Walker then taking away the stability for jobs. These people are just degrading the whole community.
We degrade ourselves because we won't stop killing each other over dumb shit.
As
soon as the sun comes out, and I understand it once again, people say, damn boy, you sure done got you full of yourself now. You done got your little degrees and shit. You living on the west side, you think you up on the rock. Because I remember you used to be out here with us and shit, right? And I'm saying it was wrong then, but even then I had boundaries into what I was gonna do. Certain shit, I'd be like, man, I'm finna go. These motherfuckers on some dumb shit. I'm finna go. But as soon as the sun comes out, all you see on Facebook is our youngsters in the community just having these massive brawls. Hell, we just had one a couple weeks ago. It was a stabathon.
Damn.
A group of females just got to fighting with knives like it was a fucking karate movie or something. Like this is where we at. And so we can't blame Chevy them for this shit. Chevy will tell you, this was going on when I started. I don't know. I don't know where it started. It was already happening in my city. Chevy will tell your ass that. Obama point 0.2, he will tell you like, we have a lot of problems, got a lot of issues. I'm gonna go to Bucks game. I'm gonna go to the Brewer game, throw out a pitch, right? Like he's on that camera shit. Like I'm gonna take a picture. Like he was saying, yeah.
Hey, I caught him on camera today acting like he was filling potholes.
I got a question.
He was filling potholes.
Acting like he was filling potholes. Hey, he had on his nice dress shoes. He had on his nice dress shirt, tie. Brand new safety vest, and they got him shot. He made his
so now we lie at our championship with the Bucks. Why do you think the Bucks just said, forget it, we don't even want to win the championship anymore?
I don't think they said that.
Jimmy Butler had a lot to say about that. He was like, take your ass back home. I don't think the Bucks was like, I don't think they was like, fuck it, Milwaukee ain't worthy. I think they was like, God damn, we can't stop him from scoring. And then Giannis broke his back, so it was over. He was like, "Oh, my ass hurts," and so there's a lot of reasons why the Bucks they ain't no Mayor Johnson.
Bud left rehab. Don't forget about Bud. He left rehab. He started back drinking.
Yeah, see that's allegedly, Sean. Allegedly.
I'm talking about the look on his face every time I seen him. He looked like he was hung the fuck over.
Yeah, he did, man. He did.
Black people ain't shit, man. They was talking about your
Hey,
ass.
man, you know,
Right?
we'll diagnose some shit.
We're
diagnosing
what do we? I mean, so what do we have for stability? You know,
well, it ain't based on sports. Listen, if we want to talk about stability, let's talk about this. Because we just referenced this last week. MPS has a $1.5 billion budget. Once again, Milwaukee Public Schools has a $1.5 billion budget. And guess what? They don't have enough teachers. What the fuck you doing with the money?
Why.
Well, what?
I wonder why.
So right quick, baby.
Oh, that sounds like I need to go on with the program. Get paid.
Because they took us to a whole news flip.
What you mean they took us through a whole news flip, Sean?
I'm talking about what Cuz just did. She took us from crime to politics to sports to church. We just covered the whole show. That's a great motherfucking show.
No, Beauty has the show. She's doing her own show in her head. So we all guest starring on her show. So she like, listen. We got Kevin Barnes here tonight as our guest. Come on out, Kevin.
Introduce yourself.
But Sean, I don't know what you talking about. You do the same shit all the time. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I know, man. I'm proud of her, bro. That's my cousin.
Right.
That's my cousin. I'm proud of her, bro. I really am.
Oh, man. She been a long time supporter of the show.
No, I know that Keith Posey is struggling.
He's a
because
mom.
a lot of people are trying to get him out of the position that he's in. And our culture is not sticking, like you said just now. We're not sticking together. We're more so apart. So what is it that the school district could do better?
Well, there's a litany of things that they could do better. I think your responsibility as the leader is to manage better, right? And so you can't realistically tell me that you have a $1.5 billion budget, but there's not enough money in there for teachers. Now, I will hear them saying, I will hear people saying, well, it's not the question of them not having the money. There's vacancy. So they don't have enough people who want to be teachers. And I can tell you why. It's for the same reason when I taught for MPS that people would look at me like I was crazy when I told them what I did for a living. They would say, man, you mess with them badass kids. Whoo, boy. I know they, and I'm going to tell you right now, anybody out there who wants to criticize a teacher, I'm going to tell you to sit on it right now. Stop it. Because a teacher knows how your kids act when you ain't around, right? A teacher has your children all day. See, a lot of people use the school as their daycare because they want a relief from them little bad motherfuckers. So they'll drop them off and be like, go on in that school. You go on in there. And I got him, and then you come home from work talking about y'all lay y'all ass down and go to sleep. I'm tired. So you ain't did shit all day. I done did the parenting and the adulting all day. So I'm saying, and I had so many parents that would come into school, like I said, who wanted to say, you Mr. Barnes? Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. Hold on. First of all, you ain't going to be telling me something. We're going to talk about your child. We're going to have a cordial discussion. Ain't going to be no disrespecting around here on shit. Now, if that's the case, I will call for a mediator. We can get the principal or somebody in here because I'm not going to be disrespected at all. Now, do you want to know what's going on with your child? Well, yeah, I'm just saying she told me she's 8. Sit down and listen. Let me get my grade book out. See all them zeros? That's work she didn't do. What the fuck that got to do with me? And these are homework assignments. Here's the note I sent home. Here's how many times I've tried to call you. Matter of fact, you need to update your contact information in it. Sometimes I had to call the emergency contact and say, I'm looking for so and so and so. It'd be an old auntie or a grandmother like, well, I reckon I got a number. I would try to call her and tell her y'all looking for her. It's like, dude, what is going on, man? So it's a suck ass job, right? Now it's rewarding if you really about that life because you get kids who do advance and they will forever love you for life, right? So they'll come back and you'll see them later. I've had kids walk to Mr. Barnes, man, you was my favorite teacher, man. Man, you was cool as hell, but I had somebody who said I couldn't stand your ass. You was always putting somebody out. Yep, you can get out. Get out. Get out. That's my whole thing. After a certain point, get out. You go in the hallway and say that. They go in the hallway. I just close the door in their face. Go to the office. I don't got time for you. So it's a very hard job, right? And so our teachers need more support from the homes. Listen, 53206 is 53206. I've been in North Division. The kids in North Division are from 53206, and they act accordingly. So, and shout out to North Division, and rest in peace to my man Keith Carrington, who was the principal, who was a dedicated principal, and he passed in the fall. Rest in peace to Keith Carrington. But it's a very hard job, man. So the community, at the end of all these complaints we have about white people and politicians and this and that, all of it comes back to us. And none of us want to admit it. You know, like I said, the dude, what's his name, who got fired for saying nigger on the air, right? Remember, Michelle? He got fired, right? Now let me read Mama Jenkins. She said, I keep telling y'all that's what the problem is now. These little badass kids grow up to cause havoc in the community now. You got to choke them when they start crawling. I think that might be why they flagging you, Mama Jenkins.
Mama, you can't. That's what they restricted me for. When I said hit them in their throat.
Mama Jenkins said, slap the shit out of. Why they flag me?
Yeah, I think I said
she gotta call in and say what she
want to say. Yeah.
What'd you say, Kamar?
I said she gotta call in and say what she want to say.
Yeah, Mama Jenkins, you're gonna have to start hitting the line. We just gonna have to let you go and just let you spit, and because they gonna try to get at your words. But no,
be able to call in.
Huh?
She ain't gonna be able to call in next week. She going to jail tonight.
What you? No.
She's just on restrictions, bro. She was just on a 2 days.
No, man, she be all right. She
just
be
got
all right.
out.
Earl Henning.
Just got out. I told him, man.
Earl Henning, my brother, long time no hear. He said education is the key to success. Mothers and fathers help your children to succeed in their lives, Black people. Yeah, I mean, once again, everybody think they smarter than a world that's been here for thousands of years. You got a shortcut. You ain't got to do it what everybody else do. No, you ain't got to go to school, none of that. You can be a rapper, you got a jumper, you can go to the NBA. Right? I'm here to tell you, even if you go to the NBA, eventually you're gonna have to be a regular citizen one day. You can't play basketball forever. And if you don't have no education or no understanding of nothing, you're gonna lose all your money. Say a fool and his money should soon part. Sharon Evans said, Mama, she said, I got bail money. I wish we could do that on Facebook, right? Like trade them stars when somebody be in jail and shit. Like, come on, we got to get rail out, man.
Send 30 stars. Send 30 stars.
But I want to get y'all take on this before we go, because the white boy who was on the baseball game, and we heard that he was supposed to say Black history. He said nigger history by accident. He said, "Oh shit, I done fucked up. I didn't mean to say that, right? I didn't mean to say that.
Fucked up.
Right. Let me get his name because I want this mouth to be exposed."
That's only because somebody made him feel like he was comfortable to do that, and the Caucasian community does that on the regular. They call us those N words all the time.
His name is Glenn. His name is Glenn Cooper, right? Kuiper. Fired after saying the N word on air. But but once again, it's so easy to get y'all riled up, right? All the shit we just talked about, a lot of people don't even know sheep shit from Wild Honey about none of it, right? But if you say you hear about the white boy who said nigga on it, he has air black, hell yeah, man, fuck him. Should he have lost his job because he said, if he said, yeah, these niggers sure are fast, should he lose his job for that? Or should he get suspended, or what should happen to him? Because I think the people should just not watch his program anymore. Then they'd have to let him go anyways, as opposed to saying you fired because you said nigger. Right?
Yep, you fired.
So if I'm on the air and I slip and say honky, should I lose my job?
No, because honky, that shit don't even mean shit, man.
Depends on your audience.
Like, shit don't even mean nothing. Like, what?
He's a baseball commentator. Ain't no black people watching baseball. The only way we found out about the shit was somebody shared a clip, man.
Nobody, fire that. We don't care.
Oh, man, you can't have it both ways. If he could say nigger, I should be able to say honky.
Honky don't even mean shit though.
Oh, it means a lot. It means a lot. If you say cracker, if you say cracker, Rosem Smacker,
cracker, yes,
knocker,
cracker has a little
all
power
this kind of
to
stuff. That's all. This is the equivalent of them calling us niggers. Like if you call a Polish person a Polak, or you call a Latino person a greaser, or you call an Asian person yellow or something like that.
Your ass.
Well,
but
I
what does
mean,
hunky
what's good for the
relate
goose
to?
is good for the gander. I'm not mad as long as I can say something back to you. You say, "Hey, nigger," and I say, "Fuck you,
I
cracker."
want to call them a nigger back. That's what I want to say. I want to say you a motherfucking nigger. Show ass up.
I'm serious, but you shouldn't lose your job. You know, I feel like if you say that, you should have to come back and apologize to the people at the job and have a meeting where anybody can say anything they want to you. So all the black people can stand up and read your ass. I never liked your ugly ass anyways, you motherfucking punk ass. And then you say, okay, now let's all go back to work. I feel like that's the way you should handle
It ain't gonna happen like that.
Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm just saying. It's wishful thinking.
No, it don't happen like that.
When they start doing that, right, and that's the norm, right? That means that they can't attack our powerful people when they mess up. Right? They gotta sacrifice somebody every now and again so that they can keep that balance or make it look like they are. We accept their one sacrifice. However, we accept the 10 that they sacrifice from our community.
Once again, he'll get another job. He'll get another job, right? I mean, I just think we worry about the wrong shit. You know what I'm saying? I think that we have you have the right to free speech in this country. There's a price that comes with you. Yeah, you listen. There's a price. I think Ice-T made a song called "Freedom of Speech." Just watch what you say, right? Because you got the right to say whatever you want, but understand if you say that in the wrong place to a wrong person, you put yourself in jeopardy, right? Like, so you can say, I got free speech. I'm gonna walk down North Avenue and say, hey, fuck all you niggers. Now you know you might get your ass whooped. You got to say what you wanted to say, but you said it in the wrong place. Now, if you go to Tulsa and be like, I want all niggers out, you might get a couple people join in with you, like, yeah, get these niggers out of here. They're ruining Tulsa. You got to know where you are, man. You can't just, and he didn't realize he was on TV. He could have said that shit when the mic was off. Boy, this nigger history month or something else, isn't it? Him and this guy would have left. Oh, Bill, you're so fucking funny. You're hilarious. But that mic was on. His partner was running for cover. Like, oh shit, that was him. It's looking like that was this nigga right here. It's like, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. I mean, I try to be honest with black people because I feel like we waste a lot of energy on stuff that's frivolous. Like I said.
I got one more, and I'm gonna be done with y'all tonight.
Okay, well, just use us and throw us away.
And Shaq and what's his name? What's the basketball player, the crazy one?
Which one? You talking about Ja Morant?
No.
The light skinned one?
The crazy one. What's his name?
Barnes? Barnes? No.
Barkley. Barkley.
You said the light skinned.
What's going on? How do you show the nation? Barkley. How do you show the nation that y'all can't get along on TV?
Well, you know they're actually very good friends, right? It's a play for ratings. They are very good friends.
Yeah.
Are they?
Yeah, it's a play for ratings. They do that just because people tune into it and think it's funny.
That wasn't funny. They was almost at each other's throat.
Yeah, they both making about $7-8 million a year at that gig. I don't think that, like I said, they disagree sometimes, but I've heard Shaq say how much respect he has for Charles Barkley and vice versa. So
what?
Yeah, so it's like wrestling all over again. You thought they was enemies and they roll home together. Like that's how we feel for the WWF and shit. Like, ooh, he buzzed his head. You know, him and they families was like having lunch together the next day and shit. Right? It's all for the ratings. It's just, sensationalism. It makes a good show.
Awesome.
If me and Kamar or me and Real or me and Courtney, whoever, if we all went at each other like that, I'm pretty sure our ratings would be probably quadruple what they are. That's Real. Fuck up. You don't know what the fuck you are. Fuck you, Kev.
Yeah.
Over there eating all that meat and shit.
Kev, right. Kev, your ass ain't even enlightened, nigga. You ain't enlightened. You look bump out.
So look.
Why can't our community have fun in it?
Because we're going to get to fighting.
I know. I would love to build a big old skate rink in the middle of the city. just for our children.
That should be open 2 weeks. It'll be open 2 weeks.
What you mean?
Man, niggas gonna tear that motherfucker. Be roller skates flying all over the place. Look, kids getting hit all upside their goddamn head. Listen, I'm just being honest. Listen.
Because that's the narrative that we gonna push. We're gonna push. You know what, man? That motherfucker only gonna be open 2 weeks. Instead of the first one of you motherfuckers touch that motherfucker, we gonna fuck y'all up.
Can we just admit, and then get a racing thing for them? You know, because Slinger has that.
No racing shit. Not for these bastards.
I'm telling you, I know my people very well, and I wish that could be done. But not without heavy regulation. It should be an idea that's shopped, but it has to be done in a certain way because Ray and them is gonna do what they do, right? Like, and there's no turning back on it. It's like, man, how come I brought my kids up here to skate and the whole rink smell like weed now? Because somebody is in the bathroom blowing Zaza, and they don't give a fuck that I got my son got to contact my daughter. Dad, I want some popcorn. All of a sudden, you so hungry. Fucking event, right? Then when you go outside, the music playing, you walking with your girl, some cat out there talking about, hey, baby, what's going on? Like, bro, can't you see me here? Nigga, I blow the motherfucking head off. Damn, man, you take my wife with a gun? I'm just saying. I'm keeping it above.
This is still my dream all the way down the toilet, man. Come on now.
I mean, you could try it, but it's the reason why the Walmart. Look, if Walmart can't make it there, a skating rink ain't gonna make it there. I'm just keeping it bug with you. Walmart got food and draws, and they can't make it. You think a skating rink gonna pop? Shit, somebody stole my skates. All the shoes gone. Man, you turn your shoes in, get your skates, the whole thing. I know it ain't funny, but it is. But I'm just saying, this is the things that happen, man. This is what happens, man.
Still open.
How long did the Palace stay open, Sean? How long did the Palace stay open? About 3 years?
No, about 5 years.
Okay, yeah.
But they got two though.
And the last two was real slim. But look, no, them last two was like, is that shit still open? Like they was down to playing a Walkman when you go in there to skate, right? Like it was like, yeah, we ain't no more.
Because our culture allowed that shit.
That was the 70s.
Still open. Butler still open.
Now, how come didn't nobody blame Grandmaster Flash and them when they was fighting in the Palace? Like, goddamn Melly Mel, see what you got started? Now we blaming all the rappers and shit.
You had people talking about don't listen to that rap music shit then. They was talking about that shit then.
Y'all was pop locking and shit in there, dancing drills and shit, and then fighting in it. I've been there. I seen you motherfuckers tear shit up. I was there. I'm telling you, I seen it.
Well, you know what? Summerfest got a good lining up, and State Fair does too. They taking an African American festival away from the Summerfest, right? They got the gay fest they got, and they got all of the other festivals.
Pride Fest? Pride Fest. It's a gay fest. It's gay day. Happy gay day. Like, they got Homo Fest on the lakefront. That's fucked up. That's why gay people don't like Outlaw Radio, man. Y'all be getting me in trouble. Look, hold on. Mama Jenkins says, he said, I got to stop commenting and start listening more. They really watching me, not on Outlaw Radio, but on all talk shows. I guess she's experienced trying to comment on other shows, and they getting at her. He said Walmart was losing $100,000 a week in that spot. I don't know, Earl. I've heard some different figures than that. I've heard that. I seen the article that said it wasn't just that Walmart on a whole, because they closed in Chicago. How many did they close? They closed like five to seven of them, and they said that Walmart's are they haven't. A lot of the stores aren't profitable, but because of what it comes down to is Amazon is really kicking your ass. Just like when Walmart came and shut down the moms and pop stores, now Amazon and online is shutting their ass down. So it's like, because Amazon, especially in my neighborhood, Whoever Amazon gotta love my neighborhood. That motherfucking truck never leaves our block. I believe it'd be parked at the end of the street. Every time somebody, I'd be mad and jealous, like, oh, they got some shit coming. I ain't got nothing coming from Amazon. Just get on there and order some shit. Like, man, I want Amazon to come by my house. So that shit shut down Walmart, man. You can get food from Amazon and they'll bring it the same day. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, it's a different thing. Sharon Evans said 5 gay days. Well, what are the 5 gay days? If I'm reading that correctly, I didn't know it was 5 gay days. I'm sorry. It's 10 o'clock, man. We got to get out of here, man. I had too much fun with y'all. I could come on this show and be like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna talk about tonight. And this should be 3 hours. But I did want to say this. First of all, shout out to everybody who's listening to the show. Share the show. I just asked that you share the show. We want to get it you know, put into more people's ears. Cause I heard what Sean was saying. I made light of it, but I hear what he's saying. But I'm not moving until there's a movement, right? Like we have a great time, but I'm not bending over backwards to help somebody who don't want help. And so I will offer it. I will offer it, and people say, "Cam, man, y'all be talking about that politics shit, man. I ain't into that." Okay, well, go listen to whatever the fuck it is that you listen to. She said, shout out to Stephanie. She said it's the only show I follow. Why are they flagging you? I don't know. Maybe it ain't me. I'm not a snitch or nothing like that. I'm not an informant. I don't know. I just think that it's the whole algorithm. It's the whole algorithm with Facebook, where if you present yourself as like a digital creator, then they're gonna monitor your content. So it's like we don't want no hate speech, we don't want no anti-Semitics, you know, we don't want no homophobic speech. So and the words go too fast for them to really monitor it right on point.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're writing it out, it's like keywords. There's keywords: choke, slap, kick,
hate,
you know, that kind of thing. You know, 7 Dirty Words by George Carlin.
beat.
It's those things that if you say it in the chat room, it comes down on you. I do want to end the show tonight because I started off. This show is dedicated to my homeboy, man. You know, shout out to Danye, man. Brother, if I could, I would, man. Much love for the young brother, man. I know he had changed his life. I know he was 44 years old. We just talked about this. Kamar and I laughed about this. We used to talk all that shit, listening to Snoop, and we don't love them hoes and all that. Kamar got on Facebook and said, "Man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. My girl gone." I said, "Man, that boy over there listen to some Boys and Men. Somebody go call that boy, right?" But we joke, but you know, even when your woman leave and you look around like, "Man, I'm hungry." Shit, ain't no. You gotta cook it yourself. Damn, somebody need to clean this up, nigga. You got to clean it up, nigga. Man, I'm bed cold, man. You change these sheets.
Man, you niggas better find something to appreciate.
Yeah, man. And we laughed also too by saying it's only you lonely motherfuckers out here talking about, "I don't want to be in no relationship." Yeah, for everybody, ain't nobody good enough for you with your lonely ass.
Ain't nobody motherfucking lonely, man.
I ain't talking about you, Courtney. I'm talking about a lot of these motherfuckers. They out here lonely as a bitch on Facebook talking about I'm a whole vibe. Well, you a single vibe. Don't nobody want your ass. You know.
Damn.
Stop hating on people. And I know it don't apply to everybody because
as I lay in the bed alone, as I tuck myself in. Straighten my pillows out alone.
But Courtney, you put positive stuff on Facebook. I don't see you on Facebook talking about fuck a man and all. That's not the rhetoric that's coming from you.
Oh no,
I'm talking about other single people who be out here like you ain't lonely and shit. When it's cold outside, you by yourself and shit, like, and it's raining outside. You be like Kamar sitting at home on the weekend talking about where my baby at. I'm at you, Kamar. I'm at you.
Good.
No, I know, man. Come on, man. I told you. Me and Kamar joke because I said, man, I'm 22 years in. We're a little bit past that. It'd be like, I'm glad his ass gone. I know when I leave, my wife be like, shit. I hope he's still alive. She tells me all the time that I annoy the shit out of her. So I already know she'd be like, "Hey, I thought you was going so and so and so." No, go. Ain't your friends gonna be there? Like the whole 2 floors gonna be there. Go.
The whole
like,
2 floors.
Go.
Get your ass.
Glad this nigga left. But no. Rest in peace to Yayo the Don, man. I don't think it's one of the things where people say you won't be forgotten. I don't think anybody in the neighborhood will ever forget. Ye. He was a good dude, man. He was a good dude, and ultimately God decides when it's whose time. So Obviously, God wanted him to come on home, right? He must have had a purpose for him, because if not, he would still be here with us. But also, the legendary Jim Brown died, and as a black man and as a football player, an athlete, Jim Brown was one of those kinds of examples that was set in terms of, don't let your sport define who you are. You define your sport. The 60s blessed us with this great group of athletes, and they all came the late 50s, early 60s. Bill Russell, Jim Brown, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Muhammad Ali, and Kareem to a certain extent. I said Kareem, but to a certain extent. But there were a lot of Hank Aaron. There were a lot of prominent black athletes who were always willing to make a social statement. And Jim was, my father would like talk to me about watching Jim Brown play. And as far as he was concerned, Jim Brown was the coldest dude that ever played football. I mean, my father would talk about this dude when I was little, like, boy, you ain't seen nothing till you see some Jim Brown. I'm like, well, Pops is 85 and he retired in 65, so I'm probably never gonna see him. But I did watch as a kid the old NFL films. 9 years, never missed a game, right? Retired at his prime. Out of his 9 years, he led the league in rushing 7 times, right? I mean, just records that stood for a long time. He smashed them to the point where the white man says, after seeing Jim Brown play, I have to change my mind, because I thought that Superman was a white man who wore red and blue with an S on his chest. I now know he's a black man who plays for Cleveland with a 32 on his chest. So I got a little confused and disillusioned about Jim Brown later on when he became a Trumper. I'm gonna attribute that to him getting older and trying to figure that, because he, more importantly than sports, Jim Brown came up with the American program. Jim Brown put it on the line in Los Angeles and South Central in the 80s when it was really what it was, right? And he tried to work with a lot of gangbangers. He tried to stop gang banging in Los Angeles. So it's a lot. Read about his life. If you ever watched any of his movies, Slaughter, Three the Hard Way, Bucktown. Was he in Bucktown, USA? I believe he's in Bucktown, USA. There's a whole set of
I'm gonna get you, sucker.
Man, and that was later, right? Right. And so it's a whole litany of work that he left. And his message was always like, I'm a black man first. And I think that was really admirable. And so rest in peace to Jim Brown as well. But 87 years old, good journey, right? Like you know what I'm saying? I don't think at that kind of funeral you crying, you like, man, well, I'm not gonna say, because I think he had a young son. That boy had a 30-year-old. I mean, that man had a 30-year-old wife or something. So he got a young kid. But well, if you want to interrupt my monologue, go right ahead. This is why I don't invite people over. Go ahead.
No, but that was my personal friend, man. I used to sleep at Jim Brown's house.
Okay.
Real shit.
Okay.
The guy, Rockhead, who he got out of jail, was my guy, and he was staring at it. Jim Brown was a hell of a person, a hell of a man, and the shit that he did that nobody knows about. You know what I mean? You can't place a value on the lives that man changed. And he lost a great person, bro. For real.
Right. So
he lost a great person.
But it's the cycle of life, right? So these things happen. But usually when one person leaves, so there's room for somebody else to step up. So I'm like, my whole challenge for all of us as black men is to now say who's it gonna be, right? Because now I'm forced, because like I said, the death of my homeboys forced me to kind of look at this whole thug life thing. And I always knew that I was misguided and I had gotten lost and knocked off my path. But there's a certain set of cultural norms that come with it that have kind of permeated our culture. And it's created this situation where it's cool to not be cool, right? Like it's cool to be dysfunctional. It's cool to be a detriment to your community. You get a label and say, man, dude, a real one. Why? Because he was wild, because he will wild out, because he's willing to hurt his own people. Nobody really gives light to the people who are doing well. It's just like I say with the youngsters here. Not all the youngsters in Milwaukee is driving stolies and wilding out, but the ones who are doing well, they don't get to shine. Right? We don't big up them enough. And so maybe if we made their shit more popular, then they could phase this bullshit mentality that we have out. But I also think everything that we're going to do in this community starts and stops with us. That's the realest shit that you can possibly ever hear. There's no white man coming to save you. There's no super black legislation coming to save you. There's nothing. There's no understanding. There's no empathy. There's no sympathy from our government coming to save you. You got to get your mind right, and you got to get wrapped around what's going on. And if I get it, people say, Kev, well, you came from a good home with 2 parents. Well, that didn't mean shit at the end of the day, because I had to make my own decisions. And it was up to me to say, enough is enough, man. I'm about to walk off on this bullshit. And that's what everybody has to do, right? And so, like I always say, man, keep your head on a swivel. Man, hug the people who you got to hug while they here. We talk about real niggas and thug shit. Now I'm noticing when we see each other now, because we done lost so many, it's a norm for us to say, man, love, bruh, before we leave, man. Love you, bro. Like, and that's important. No homo, pause, and all of that. We say it to each other now, man. Love you, man. Because you don't know when you're gonna see that person again, man. Because you don't know what's gonna happen. Rest in peace to Moo Moo, man. Rest in peace to Big Vic. Rest in peace to the homie Danye, man. Yeah, yo, the Don, man. I don't know. It's gonna be a lonely place without you, man. We're gonna have to try to figure out how to get ahead. I tell y'all all the time, man. You got to be about it or be without it, man. You got to be real with yourself before you can be real with anybody else. So if you run around here talking about you's a real nigga, but you can't even face up to your own self, you're not a real nigga. You're a confused nigga. Sorry to break that news to you, right? Because every now and then you run across a person that's talking a whole bunch of cash shit, and you start to think about, like, I ain't never seen this motherfucker before. Ultimately, you realize his criticism of the community outweighs his contribution. So what we usually call him is, oh, you talking about that coon over there? I will see y'all Wednesday, man. Peace and love, Capital Drive and Action. Stand up. Rest in peace to Yayo the Don, man. My brother. For life, man. For life. I'll see y'all Wednesday.